Megan, and Carrie Annie.
Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, welcome and happy Tuesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, hot topics, might get a little political. So that's a show for you. Definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including some rumored Miami Vice casting news. Of course, we got to get into this mess regarding Barney B versus Cocaine Barbie. These are the names they came up with, so we're gonna roll with it. So we got to talk about this beef being ignited. It's the SHEquel, so we got to get into that. Plus, Cardi B is getting into it with Ice Spice's people. Apparently, there was a audio that was leaked of Ice Spice threatening to beat up well, not Ice Spice. Cardi threatening to beat up Ice Spice. Even was going to threaten to beat up her producer, who I guess she's also hunching. It's a mess. We got the whole clips and all of that. So definitely tune in for that messiness that's about to come up. Plus, yesterday we talked a bit about Austin Wolf, and he was sentenced to 19 years in prison or jail. Now the defense is out here trying to, or prosecutors are trying to get 20 years, or not 20 years, 11 years and 3 months specifically for Diddy, because he about to be sentenced this Friday. So we got to get into that. Plus, Cassie is sharing fears that Diddy will come after her an emotional letter ahead of his sentencing. So we got to get into that. Jennifer Lopez, yet again, mother of the house of Delulu. She did make that Delola drink. I don't know if that's still around. People still drinking it. If it's still in stock, I don't know. But the lady who likes the Delola and is the Delulu apparently is in her Delulu phase even more because she said her singer voice is more suited for the theater. So we'll get into that. Maybe that's why she couldn't sell out the arena tours. Tate McRae, Gracie, Abrams, GloRilla, and more are named Time 100's most influential rising stars. So we're getting to that. Ryan Murphy is weighing in on whether or not he plans on doing a monster version of Luigi Mangione's situation that's going on with that. I got thoughts. Gen Z apparently is out here starting mess with people talking about that nobody over 25 should be on Grinder. Tiffany Pollard is saying that she resonates with non-binary people, and we're going to talk about the winner of Project Runway. We'll get into all of that and a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, if you please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. After the show, I'll be putting in the timestamps so those who are just now coming in can follow along with the show by just going into the description, clicking on which topic tickles their fancy, and go in and let have. So, okay. So now, I did see we got a couple of comments. I know I was late. Forgive me. I was sitting there looking for First of all, I have a package that's been trying to come all day from Amazon. I don't know how it's still in route. What's going on with y'all? I'm not ordering. My dumb ass decided to order like those shipping containers, like the storage containers or whatever from them. I should. Meanwhile, I went to Costco yesterday. It was way cheaper. So, and they were the 27 size. They were like much bigger. So I think I'm actually go there again this week and pick those up. I'm gonna just keep these, but they taking forever to get here. So I see a couple of y'all already in the comments. I'll get to those after the first topic. So let's get into topic number one without further ado. And yeah, let's talk about Miami Vice. So there is a movie. I mean, well, y'all probably haven't heard because I haven't really talked about it on the show, or I know a lot of y'all go on the social medias and probably heard about it. But excuse me, Miami Vice is getting a theatrical reboot or remake. Didn't they do a Miami Vice already with I think they already did one, right? With Colin Powell. Colin Powell. I'm thinking of Glen Powell, that's why. With Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx. Well, and I think Michael Mann directed it. I don't remember how well it did at the box office, but they're rebooting it. We're getting a new one with Joseph Kosinski, who directed Tron Legacy. He directed F1, which I absolutely loved. And he also directed Top Gun Maverick. So now he's in behind this film. And I know a lot of people are wondering, like, who's going to play, Crockett and Tubbs? Well, apparently, the rumors are swirling that it might be Michael B. Jordan and Glen Powell. While it has not been officially confirmed that they're playing this part, I think this is good casting. But let's get into it because there's this little website called Nexus Point News. They've come out and said little things here and there that have turned out to be true. So I think a lot of the blogs have been running with this story from them. I know a lot of people feel like, oh, well, if it doesn't come from Variety, and if it doesn't come from Deadline, if it doesn't come from EW, if it doesn't come from, Hollywood Reporter, then it's not true. But the trades are cut to the studios, and the trades can only, those major trades that I just mentioned, can only release information when the studio says, okay, go ahead. I gave y'all that tip. I gave y'all that tea. Go ahead and release it. So they're all within they're at the mercy of the studios. Whereas Nexus Point News or someone like a Jeff Snyder or a Daniel RPK or so many others can break stories without having to be at the mercy of these studios who rely on the Hollywood Reporters and all of them to get their information out there. So yeah, the rumbling. Shout out to the playlist for the story. Comes from Nexus Point News, which I already stated, which has developed quite a decent record for breaking genre casting news like this, but the reporting hasn't been backed up by the trades just yet. While a believable duo, and we have to imagine scheduling would have to be ironed out first, given that Miami Vice is expected to get in front of the cameras next year, we're still cautiously optimistic. Now, if you're not familiar with Miami Vice, it was a big show that was popular in the 80s. Where they basically had like a group of extremely cool undercover vice cops that infiltrate various criminal groups posing as fellow crooks and take them down from within. So, and then also what was great about the show, because I remember I wasn't old enough to even be aware of Miami Vice, but I used to watch the reruns because if you were a child of the 80s and the 90s, a lot of times a lot of those shows that came up in the 80s, they were reran on certain channels. So that's how I was aware of it, because I would have been way too young to even know what a Miami Vice show was. But I was familiar with the fact that the show was very big on the fashion, and that was like one of the big breakout situation when it came to that show, which is why I kind of like this picture that Nexus made with them in like the big, they would wear like wife beaters with blazers and the big shoulder pads and the shades, and they always looks cool. And I think that Miami Vice is definitely a great franchise to reboot. I don't think I've even seen the one with Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx. If it ends up on one of the streaming services, it probably is already on one of the streaming services, I'll definitely check it out, because I don't think I've ever gotten around to watching that, the remake that they made. I think it came out in 2006. So yeah, the show came out in 1984. So yeah, I wouldn't have been old enough to even know what the hell was going on. So now another interesting tidbit is that it will be a period actioner. So they're basically saying that Joseph Kosinski's version, it will take place in the 80s rather than being a contemporary version like the previous Man film. And I'm like, would people actually want to see a Miami Vice that takes place in the 80s? And here's the thing. One thing I will say about Miami still look like it's stuck in a time warp. I think probably that's why a lot of them Cubans moved to Miami, because if you go to Cuba still is like stuck. They're still trapped in this whole retro type of situation where they got those old cars and the buildings are like pink and all that other stuff. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why they're thinking, okay, we can work and shoot the movie in Miami, because Miami still kind of has it still looks like it's trapped in a time capsule. And it's not that hard to get a lot of the guys in some retro pieces that came out in the 80s, like a lot of like the really pressed slacks and the big jackets with the shoulder pads. Like, it's not that hard to kind of get those fashions and stuff going and kind of give that whole 80s glam look. So I could definitely see that it would make sense for them to have it in the 80s, and then they don't have to rely, I guess, too much on technology, because a lot of that didn't exist in those days. A lot of things were a lot simpler then. So they said that Jordan is directing currently Amazon MGM Studios remake of the Thomas Crown Affair, where I believe that his co-star is Adriana Arjona, who is currently dating Jason Momoa, and who my pick is to be Wonder Woman. And then they also said that, yeah, with an aim to direct Creed 4 at some point, and it's still poised to reprise the John Clark role in Rainbow Six. So, but I feel like Rainbow Six, that'll be a while before that happens. Because I'm like, are we supposed to be getting a John Wick Chapter 5? And Chad Stahelski hasn't even started shooting Highlander yet, which I just heard Jeremy Irons just signed on to be the villain in there, or one of the villain's fathers, or something or another. So that cast is sort of stacked now. Like we got we got a lot of people. Jason, I mean, well, what the hell is his name? Henry Cavill's injured, so that movie's been postponed until early 2026. So I guess it'll be a while. Well, who knows what's going on with that, because it's like it's taking them forever to get Highlander made. John Wick, I mean, I don't even know if they have a script done for the fifth one, but they're talking about they want to put him in one. And Keanu Reeves is currently on Broadway with Alex Winter, who was in Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure with him, and Bogus Journey, and all the Bill and Ted franchise. So they're on what is it called? Waiting for Godot. They're doing Broadway together, which I heard that the play is good, is doing well. Keanu Reeves' acting is a bit stiff, but I'm like, hello, have you not met Keanu? I mean, I love him. That's my Virgo twin. We both share a birthday, September 2nd. However, yes, he's very much like very stoic and very like he's scared to show a little emotion. Which is why a lot of people were shocked when he did this interview with Keke Palmer, because they have a new movie coming out that I actually want to see, where he's playing an angel. And he was getting really excited when they were talking about like stuff out of the Matrix, and she was hyping him up, and you could see like how energetic it was. And everybody was like, "We ain't never seen Keanu this energetic." But yeah, so and then they said Universal Pictures, which is behind the latest version of the action flick, announced that Miami Vice will be arriving in theaters on August 6, 2027, and that date would telegraph that production will begin sometime in 2026. So it's like, yeah, if you can get this movie made like spring, summer of 2026, you could definitely have that movie out in August of in 2 years. So um, at the end of the day, I definitely feel like Joseph Kosinski definitely has a flair for making beautifully shot films, and I definitely think that the movie will definitely be good in his care, because, like I said, I like a lot of what he does. But I hope that this will be the choice that they would go with. I mean, Glen Powell is definitely one of the biggest rising movie stars that we have at this moment. Bakari is basically has been doing his big one. Like after Sinners, I feel like the sky is the limit for him. He can pretty much do whatever the hell he wants at this point. Um, so I definitely think like them two in a movie together would definitely be I definitely think it would be a box office hit. I definitely think it would be good if they can get these two. However, with the way the schedules are, I don't know if it'll happen. But if they can't get Michael B. Jordan, I'm sure they can come up with somebody else like Damson Idris, who was in F1 and was definitely acted head to head, definitely held his own against Brad Pitt. So I'm like, if y'all can't go with him, go with this other kid. But I feel like maybe y'all should do sort of like maybe skewer the Don Johnson character a little older, and then his partner is like some new, wet behind the ears, fresh kid that is a little too eager, and they're kind of like they find a way to balance what they're doing while they're undercover. I don't know. They'll have to figure out a way to not make it too much of a copy like the original movie, and make it entertaining for a new generation. Because a lot of these new generation people, y'all trying to get to see these movies, they don't know nothing about Miami Vice unless it's on one of the streaming services like Prime Video, one of them that you can sit and watch it. I don't even know if the show is even available to watch on any of the streaming services, because we do have a lot of shows that are available on the streaming services to watch, but I don't know if that's one of them. But anyway, so I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Miami Vice and the rumor going around that we could see Michael B. Jordan and Glen Powell playing those iconic roles? And if they do, if this, and I say the smart thing is Don Johnson's still alive, so make him the captain. And I don't know about Philip Michael Thomas. Is he still around? Where he at? So I don't know. Y'all can find a way to give them cameos. I mean, you did it with Wicked, where you had Adele Dazeem, because that's how John Travolta said it, and Kristen Chenoweth, who I know the gays is mad at the moment for what she said about Charlie Kirk and all that mess. So, or have we forgiven her like y'all quickly forgave Nicole Scherzinger? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Mm-mm. You say can't wait for the topics because my God, it's a mess. Okay. Especially oh I forgot to read that one. Especially this Cardi mess. Oh that I wonder who sent that post. Good evening, happy. Yeah, it's October Eve. Yeah, funny enough, I had yesterday being October Eve, and I'm like, I'm like, wait a minute, why is it after midnight and it says the 30th? I totally forgot. October 1st is Wednesday. Yes, happy October Eve, y'all. They saying the government shutdown. Of course it is because we have an idiot for president. Then I saw that he was addressing the military. Him and Pete Hegseth. I wonder how much liquor, how many shots he took before he got out there. And what I cracked up about is that when he walked out, it was literally crickets. Nobody clapped. And he gagged over it and talked about it and made a joke about, oh, if people oppose, y'all could lose your job and all this other stuff. I mean, you already destroyed a lot of these veterans, you know, what do you call it? Like a lot of the benefits and the things that the veterans supposed to get, you already messed that up, among other things. And the way Trump was talking, I'm like, why does his voice sound like that? Like he literally sounds like he's deteriorating in real time. A mess. And of course, I said, and what is Hakeem and the other one going to do? Send another strongly worded letter? Because y'all not doing nothing, but y'all busy out here happy and sending praise to Eric Adams over dropping out, but you won't endorse Zoran. Okay. The Cardi versus Nicki and Ice Spice drama. Okay. They sure are. And I'm sitting there like, all of y'all got money. I don't understand how rich y'all are. And y'all out here fighting amongst ourselves. And we just sitting there eating it up and creating whole discourses around it. Congrats to Taylor Swift on becoming the best selling female artist. I guess. He said, I gave up on voting. I realized the Democrats don't want to evolve. And basically, the moderates might make, well, I guess they look, the moderates already have moderate Democrats, isn't it? Well, the centrist Democrats, they're already moving more right than the right. I feel like that the progressive Democrats, the AOC, well, she says she is. The AOC, the Zorons, all them, they're going to have to create a whole new party. Whether them other ones over there that are sucking on the dingling of APAC want to do so or not, what they're going to have to do is figure out a way to just be like, okay, y'all saying that y'all want to keep it a two-party system. The two-party system is broken. We're going to create our own situation, just like how Trump reshaped the Republican Party. You're going to have to find somebody who could be just as progressive on the Democratic side is going to have to reshape the Democratic Party and push all them people out. The ones like when you saw the Liz Cheneys and the George W. Bushes and that, and the Mitt Romney, that school of Republicans they pushed out and made them retire and resign. That's what you need on the Democratic side. Give the same energy to your own people. Push them out if you want to clean up and clean house. Hmm. Yes, there's been breadcrumbs in regards to that. But I figured as much when I saw like the track listing. It was like, yeah, she's definitely sampling George Michael. It's just now she's confirming it. The 2024 movie was a drama. Oh, 2004 movie was a drama, not a comedy. Speaking of Tron, I know a lot of people aren't going to see it. Well, I guess you're going to beat me up because I'm going to see it. And it's only because it's Tron and I'm a Tron fan. Not that's and because of the soundtrack with Nine Inch Nails. Not necessarily because of Jared Leto, but we'll see. Um, I'm trying to remember. I don't think the original Miami Vice was a comedy either. It was a drama, and it was like an action drama series. Like it was about cops going undercover to take down drug dealers and things from within. Child, that's just too much man beef for one to be able to take. I need Henry to understand they have stunt performers use them. You're not in your 20s, you're 42, and become not a Lavender Haze dad. um, I mean, he always wants to, you get a lot of these actors that want to do as much as they possibly can. And you have to realize when you're under the umbrella of 8711, there's a lot that comes with that house. And that's with Chad Stahelski and all of them, that's a stunt house that they built. So when you see like Chad Stahelski and David Leitch and them, who were behind the John Wick films. And since then, when you see Keanu Reeves in there doing the stunts, and you see Ana de Armas in there doing as much as she can with the stunts, and same thing with Bob Odenkirk when he did the two Nobody movies. He has a new action movie that's coming out that I was reading about the other day that actually sounds pretty good, and I think they just got a distributor, and it's supposed to be coming out in 2026. I can't remember the name of it. But I heard that, and then they got the people behind that whole house also. What the hell's his name? Josh Brolin just signed on to do like a really interesting action movie. So a lot of the actors want to be able to do it, and I don't mind if they want to do it. He's young. He's 42 is young. So he could still do the stunts, but I just feel like, yeah, when it becomes like a little complicated, let the stunt people step in. But, not me. They shut down the go. Okay. We all tired, and that's what they are. They're chaos demons, and they're just upset because we're not thanking them for the mess that they continue to create. Wait, did I miss something? Oh, that's what you about a number because I was confused. You talking about Michael B. Jordan and Glenn? Oh, he's like, I'm not really feeling them too. I'm switching my party affiliation tomorrow to mark 1 year since I became a registered voter. I think most people should become independent. And they over here talking about, well, independent's gonna split the vote. Well, did Eric Adams think of that when he decided to run independent? How you go from Democrat to Republican or Republican to independent, Democrat to independent? I can't keep up with you. Like you literally change your party so many damn times to suit your narrative. You still lost, and Cuomo gonna lose too. If you lost the primary stuff, then we're gonna lose that again. Didn't Sailor Mermaid already said they shut down the government every other business day. So it's like, yeah, if it shuts down, let it shut down because we got clowns in the White House. So let them deal with that mess. I don't care. And they don't get paid, right, if they shut it down. But anyway, I'm tired, as I said. I'm exhausted from the mess too. But speaking of mess, let's get into this mess. So apparently, Cardi B, or as she was called, Barney B, because with the ABCD reads, I have to say, Nicki was cracking me up, but Cardi was holding her own too. So yeah, Barney B and Cocaine Barbie are fighting again. So now it is Cardi versus Nicki, the SHEquel, where these two are going in, and I'm sitting there like, okay, here's the thing. Cardi, you are 10, Nicki, you 10 years older than Cardi. I don't know why at your age, your big age, you still playing these games. Nicki, we already know. I mean, not Nicki. Cardi, we already know is a hood booger from freaking the Bronx. We already know she's immature. Y'all think just because she got money, that um that is gonna make her more demure mindful. No, she ghetto. I mean, you can't tell, especially the way that she be carrying herself and the way she talk and the way she act. So people shouldn't be surprised by it. But anyway, so apparently, let's get into it. So the girls are at it again. Cardi and Nicki basically brought their long-standing beef directly to Twitter because as we was doing the show last time, y'all already know I did a late show, and y'all was up in the comments talking about, oh Lord, Nicki and Cardi over here fighting. But I think it all stemmed from trying to keep track of all of this mess. My brain hurts. Number one. But she said, so apparently the reason why these two were fighting, because I guess Cardi was up in here like bookmark the date or whatever, I guess, for Sunday, because she was going to say that, well, her sophomore album, she was going to, I guess, I don't know if she alluded that she was going to beat um Pink Friday 2 Roman Reloaded. I have the receipts and all of that. So trust me, it's coming. So she thought with the numbers that she was going to get it. She only did 200K. And then when we found out that Roman Reloaded actually sold more. So let me see, because I do have it in here. So it said Roman Reloaded remains the biggest first week sale for a female rap sophomore album with 253 copies sold. So yeah, she did do more. I think, and after Cardi was out here popping all that mess, she did get a little radio silent and decided to go underground and wasn't getting all caught up in the mess. So she was busy beating because she was over here beefing with that other girl from City Girls. And then Nicki was over here posting things on social media talking about when her album was coming out in, 2026, which we know that is her MO. Every time a girl comes out with something, she either wants to drop a single, she wants to make an album announcement. So we're not going to sit there and act obtuse as the night to act like that Nicki don't get spooked and nervous whenever her contemporaries come out and drop stuff, because she does. And she will post things on social media and people will come in with their commentary. And then you got the Barbs going at it with the Barty gang. And then they were saying the Barty gang was trying to sabotage Nicki when her last album came out. So there was a lot of that. So, and then this time with Cardi's album coming out, I did notice online that you had some of the Barbs going on social media talking about, let's try to get those streaming numbers up for Nicki. I'm like, I don't understand why y'all be getting so caught. Like, if you like who you like them. If you like Nicki, like Nicki. If you like Cardi, like Cardi. If you like them both, like them both. I don't understand why you think, oh, if you a Barb and you like Cardi's music, then you're betraying Nicki. Do Nicki know you? Is she buying you breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day? Is she wiping your ass? Is she putting clothes on your back, a roof over your head, and food in your stomach? So I don't understand like a lot of these fans, or I should say stans, shout out to Eminem, who get so wrapped up in this bullshit that y'all feel like, oh, I have to show my undying fealty to these artists, because if I don't, then I'm betraying the situation. And it's like, she don't know you. But she gonna gaslight you. Oh, I love the Barbs and I love this and I love, like, obviously, ma'am, I'm not stupid about the gaslight, because you do that. And the fans, because I guess they're not getting enough hugs at home, their parents not paying attention to them, whatever it is, they eat it up because you make them feel important. I mean, if you like your fans, if you want to and get the support from your fans, do that. But girl, I can see through the bullshit. So the Grammy nominee went on to call her fellow rapper Barney dangerous before tweaking Cardi's magnet lyrics in an apparent diss, saying A B C D E F G surgery to look like me. Tell the rat and tell Jay-Z Rico fraud and perjury. First of all, that is a good bar. I'm not gonna hold you on that. That was a good one. Oh, and then there's another one that I came out too. Speaking of Jay-Z, she was shady for this, and I wish I could have found a damn picture. But apparently, she posted something with her riding on a camel's back, and the camel was made to look like Jay-Z. And she said the first track on her new album is called "Straw That Broke the Camel's Back." I don't know if she's for real or she was trying to be funny, but I hope there actually is a song called "Straw That Broke the Camel's Back," and it is a whole full-on read of Jay-Z, because I will find that as a cackle. And this might make Jay-Z want to come out of retirement to make an album just to read her down to the floor. Like that, I will be actually here for. But anyway, let's get back to the nursery rhyme. Because I guess what Nicki was trying to say is that Miss Mama's be out here giving nursery rhyme teas with her with her raps and stuff. And let me tell y'all something. Y'all already know, like, I already gave you my overall thoughts on the new Cardi album. I wasn't that impressed. I actually thought Doja Cat's new album was much better than Cardi. I felt like Cardi really didn't. We all know she's not a really good lyricist. She's not a really good artist. She's somebody who's out here who is a meme queen. She's funny. She has the gift of gab. She has a way with words. And the rap stuff was a bonus. She came from Love and Hip Hop. She was a stripper. And I do believe that because Nicki is such a shit stain on the industry that a lot of people behind the scenes don't like her. And I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear it, but oh well, y'all, you don't know what is known. She's not well liked. So I do feel like, out of spite, they did prop up Cardi to spite her. I do feel like they did that. And it may have gassed Cardi up a whole lot with, let's give her a Grammy, let's, invite her to all these little events. And I know it got under Nicki's skin. And so she would go back and forth with the stuff. But you got to learn to not let that stuff bother you. But I understand celebrities are sensitive, hypersensitive. They're getting their feelings a little too much. There's also a lot of insecurity. And Nicki was definitely showing that when she was coming out and posting the things that she was posting, like trying to remind y'all how many songs, how well her singles did, and how well her album sold, and how much her album sold, and all those things. She had to keep giving y'all the numbers. Which I always say, if I got to do all of that, that's a sign of insecurity. My thing would be, I'd be hyper focused. I'm not worrying about what these hoes around me is doing. I already know my pen game is sickening. I already know that what I brought to what I bring to the industry as a talent and as an artist, whether or not people see it or not. I mean, you want those accolades, you want the credibility, you want the respect of your peers, but if they're not gonna give it to you, I'd be like, okay, fuck all of y'all. I'm about to go about my business. I'm gonna do what I need to do for me, and I'm just gonna focus on what I do as a talent, and I'm gonna focus on those hardcore fans that support me. I'm not worrying about what Cardi's doing. I'm not worrying about what Lotto is doing. I'm not worrying about what Ice Spice is doing. I'm not worrying about what Megan Thee Stallion is doing. I'm not worrying about what all these other rap females, femcs, we could even throw Remy in there. Remember when Remy sheathed her? So we going. I'm not worrying about what all these other girls was up in here is doing. I'm gonna just focus on me because I know what I brought to the table. I know the window, the door that I kicked open for these other broads to come behind me to do what they're doing. And you can't compete with me with the talent that I got because that talent comes from up above. The universe gives me all the things that I need to say, and I put it, pen to paper or finger the phone when you put in your notes, when you're writing your lyrics, however you do it, and go in and let have. So there's more. She said A, B, C, D, E, F, G, falling off the charts with a big belly, running trains barefoot, still smell E. Still, you could not outsell me. And then posted a picture of Jay-Z with a pink wig on, with money, and Cardi B dressed as Barney. Basically, I guess saying, payola. And she said that basically she raps like a purple dinosaur and it's still ugly. Cardi also was barking ribs and, well, she said she was barking ribs, baking ribs and making blondie brownies when Minaj began bothering her on a damn Monday. The Love and Hip Hop New York alum clapped back at Cocaine Barbie, her words, dissing Minaj's incarcerated brother Jelani Mirage and her own altered magnet lyrics over the 2017 child rape conviction. So she said, Cardi, A B C D E F G. You want to know? I'm so over this whole A B C D E F G bullshit. But anyway, let's continue. A B C D E F G. Your man have to snatch thing days like honeycomb. Your bro be touching 12-year-olds. Then went on with another, and then posted his mugshot chair, and then showed another picture of Kenneth Petty in his Gianni Versace red T-shirt and Nicki big as a house, facing the wall, like he just beat her ass. And I think that's what she was alluding to, that Nicki get beat at home by her sex offender husband. This is what she's putting out here. So then Cardi goes and writes, why do you keep bringing up my album? It's not the gag you think it is. Well, that's a fact. You've been in the game like 16 years. You need to compare yourself to your peers that started around your time. Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Drake, those are the numbers you need to be competing with, and you can't because you're doing lower than all of them. I was in high school when you came out. WTF is you comparing yourself to me for? Because you're a female and you're her contemporary, and you're one of the biggest selling female rappers next to her. So in so many ways, you're her competition. That's why she's coming at you. Then went and posted Cocaine Barbie. Then posted the power I have, make these bitches come out of rehab every time. Go to your effing room. And then went and posted nothing more annoying than a bored bee. Another tweet, you must have missed me, huh, crazy. Now kiss my feet. Then then she posted this picture, chill, of, I can't remember what it's from. But there was a picture of this animated character bending over and looking at his booty hole in the mirror. And Nicki posted raw dog and pregnant with the fourth baby, Barney BV HPV, allegedly. So girl out here saying you got HPV, child, the human papillomavirus, and laying alone and spreading it wild with all these different men. But child, Cardi had the comeback. I was like, ooh. But I already know she like me. If you go low, I'm going straight to. I'm tap dancing on the rings, the 5 rings of hell. That's how deep I'm going. I'm bringing your whole situation in everything. I don't give a goddamn if your feelings get hurt. You gonna walk out the room crying. And there's been many a times when I was younger. I try not to be that person no more. I am reformed. where I have read somebody to the point that they were in tears. They wish they were never born. And that's how low I go. I do not let up, or like one, I'm like a dog on a bone. I don't let go. So she went and said, "Oh, right now, this is the third week tweet talking about my pregnancy. Like you wasn't going to different fertility doctors because you couldn't reproduce from all them perks scrambling your eggs. Not allegedly. Lord protect my babies." So it's like, yeah, you decided to go there. I wasn't bringing kids and stuff. And sidebar, wasn't yesterday Papa Bear's birthday? So Nicki out here reading when she supposed to be sick. She should be doing things with her kid who's celebrating his birthday. I don't know how old he is, nor do I care, but he's still young enough where it's like, this is not some mess you need to be getting caught up in. You should be just out here doing you, working on your music, raising your son, and being a doting wife. So now, additionally, Cardi pointed out that Minaj's criticism of her album sales is not the get. Well, we don't need to go into all that because we already read all of this. Then they said Ice Spice made it clear she was enjoying the explosive exchange by tweeting a laughing emoji with a hand covering its mouth. So Ice Spice decided to jump in the conversation too. Oh, and we got the tea on Ice Spice coming up. So, uh, speaking of which, you want to know something? I was thinking that I was gonna just try to make them separate. No, let's keep it all together because I don't want to sit up in here and just go into that. So yeah, let's do that. Let's get into this one because we got the Ice Spice tea coming up now. So let me change that picture and let's get into her. So yeah, so now speaking of Ice Spice, um, like I said, Ice Spice decided to jump in the conversation. Then there was a whole audio that came out because while they were going on Twitter at each other, I don't even think they have each other. They were adding each other. I believe they're both blocked. They blocked each other. So they just been back and forth. I guess people feeding her what Nicki been saying about her, and then or people might be retweeting or sending it or whatever the case is, and Nick and Cardi is just responding to the shenanigans. So apparently, Cardi told Ice Spice manager James Roseman Jr. to drop the full audio of their heated exchange because there was an audio that apparently leaked from a phone call shared by JT, or of the City Girls, escalating already messy online war involving Nicki Minaj and other rap heavyweights. So, in the audio, seemingly recorded last July, surfaced after JT posted on social media following a heated exchange between Cardi and Minaj on Monday. So, JT decided to assert herself in this situation after everything that already happened. But and then I heard the Ice Spice diss track, girl. Now she said, "Hang up." Now I remember, didn't Nicki's who was it that said hanging up flat screen? Lights need to hang it up. I heard them lyrics. I'm like, girl, you're not even on beat. Like, why are you even trying? Stop it. Because nobody cared about that album when it came out, and nobody damn sure wants to hear a diss track from you. I wouldn't even do y'all that. Like, I wouldn't even want to. I'm not that mean, so I wouldn't even want to like have y'all hear the mess that was. I did not want that to play. Because I'm like, and there's a bunch of damn screaming too. So hold on, let me pull this audio up. Shout out to Twitter. That ain't it. That's it. Okay. And let's roll it back and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold. Right, y'all got the gist. Cause after a while I said, girl, I can't with that voice. Somebody thought it was AI. And it was like, first of all, nobody would try to be out here trying to remake a sound something that sound like her. And yeah, well, they were saying that, yeah, they finna say this is AI, just watch. And it was like one person said AI could never recreate such a voice. So, my thing is this, Cardi, you just spend way too much time, and I've been saying this for so long. She runs around. I get the Libra thing, whatever the case is. Y'all always got to show how tough y'all are. I know a lot of Libras that like to go off on stuff. So, but y'all don't always have to take the bait every time somebody says something. Like, it's just okay. These people running around saying things, doing whatever. I know some people say it's easier said than done. Yes, it is easier said than done because There have been many a times when people have tried me and I walk away from the situation. Now I will let you know some stuff, but at the same time, I don't sit and just every time somebody says something about me or every time somebody comes at me with some mess that I have to react. Although yesterday I did jump out of character. There was this one lady decided to back her vehicle so close to the car I was in, they wouldn't let it outside. They roll on the window. I was like, "You could have let me some room, you fucking bitch." So I did cuss somebody out yesterday. She told me to bite her, but I called her a fucking bitch. But yeah, so I have my little rages every now and again. So you're allowed to have like one, maybe two. But every time I turn around, Cardi is always like going back and forth with a lot of people. And I think these people know how to get under your skin. They know you're going to respond. So you keep going and going and going. You should not be surprised by the damn outcome. So yeah. So then after that, Cardi went and said, I just know you didn't only record the beginning of that conversation. Basically hinting that the feud started after she praised Sexy Red. Cardi went on to say, Ice Spice said she was in her feelings, all because I said Sexy Red deserved a BET award and she had just won some iHeart award I wasn't even thinking about. Post it all. You came to bang, right? So she's saying, like, if you're going to put something out there instead of making me just look like some unhinged broad, then what you need to do is put out all the tea. So she, Cardi has always been that girl from the beginning that has been like, you know what, I'm gonna, if anybody got something crazy to say about me, if y'all want to fight, let's get up out in these streets and fight. But girl, you got a whole baby inside of you. Like you haven't spent 5 minutes without a baby in your damn uterus, and you want to be out here throwing hands on people. It's like at least give your vagina a break and get the body back to where it was before you want to get out here and start banging dudes and girls with the fist. And plus, you're at a place in your career where you got so much going for you. You have a lot going on. Like literally, around the time Nicki Minaj drop her new album, you'll be doing 2 nights at Madison Square Garden, which is not really a flex because Nicki did 2 nights at the Garden too, but she did them. Trying to remember, she did 2 nights simultaneously, or it wasn't that she did a night. And then when she did a whole circular situation where she added more dates to the Pink Friday 2 tour, or the Pink, yeah, wasn't a Pink Friday 2? The new that last Pink Friday album. When she did that whole situation, she did come around and do the Garden again. I did the first show. I didn't when that was with Monica. I didn't do the second one. And I don't think Monica was on that one. So these women out here messy. Of course, Nicki had to post on social media how many, albums was sold in regards of, artists. Did Pink Friday, Roman Reloaded, I believe, what was the biggest first week sales for a female rap sophomore album, where we have hold on, let me pull it up because shout out, I guess, to Queendom. And that's why I think a lot of this was coming from too, because they want to sit up in here and remind you broads who's doing what. So we have sophomore album, Lil Kim, Notorious K.I.M., Pink Friday, Roman Reloaded, Cardi B, Am I the Drama, 199K. So Little Kim's sophomore album, of course, sold more than um that. Foxy Brown, China Doll, 173K. Then we have Eve Scorpion with 162K, and then we have Missy with The Real World with 161K. But what I'm wondering is, with Nicki Minaj selling 253K with her sophomore album, wasn't this around a time when physical sales as well as streaming were kind of like a simultaneous thing? Because now we're in a different era where people ain't really buying physical media like that. I mean, y'all come out with like 8 different variants of an album cover, and then y'all try to that's how y'all get the numbers up. And Cardi's, the rollout, the promotion, everything behind that record, I will say that, you know what, that was her team did a great job in the whole rollout. I know one of my friends was like, they didn't like the whole rollout of her on the train or on the street corner with the DVD with the what is it, the CDs and the vinyl on the blanket. I'm like, no, that's very new. That's very signature New York. And people the one thing about Cardi that I think has always been her hook, that why people like her, is the authenticity aspect and how she comes across as relatable. So you want to take something that a lot of people can relate to. If you live in the big cities and you see people on the street hawking products and stuff, people can relate to that. So they want to, so it was something that people resonated with, and it worked. And so, but it still didn't get her, it still wasn't enough to get you to do what you did. And look, I just don't understand why y'all got to be out here with the drama and fight. Well, look, at the end of the day, Cardi did say, am I the drama? Be careful what you name your album, because the type of energy, like I tell you, y'all put out in the universe is gonna come back. So when this is you talking about am I the drama, clearly you must be, because it's been nothing but drama. Now, if it will get people interested in listening to your new album, that's to be determined. A B C D E F G. That is to be or TBD. Trying to find a rhyme, because that's they try to do this whole ABCDFG mess. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story, this hot mess of a damn story? I was like, yeah, let me close that Ice Spice audio, because I was like, I would not torment y'all. That's like Chinese water torture. I would not do that to y'all to try to have y'all listen to that horrible ass diss track that she was trying to come up with regarding Cardi B. I was like, ma'am, that should be left in the vault along with the rest of your career. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. So wait, I was like, how long am I? That's dumb. People should be allowed to choose whichever party they want to be a part of. I said, if I was still 16 running a Stan Twitter account like it was the military, I would be so invested and unemployed about this. I'm almost 21, and when I saw this, kept scrolling. Yeah, and the fact that it's like I got so much more to do than be caught up in shenanigans of two women, two wealthy women, two rich women, two successful women, where it's like you got your fan base, you out here breaking records and doing all the things you doing, Nicki and Cardi, and y'all out here fighting with each other. Like, it's just so childish and immature. But that is definitely a sign of maturity and growth, that you were just like, you know what, I decided to keep on scrolling. I just didn't care enough. The obsession and parasocial relationships, these stands with their celebrity. Okay. It damn show is a disease. And not the disease that Lady Gaga sings every night on that Mayhem Ball tour. And it's like the worst when it's grown ass adults. Taylor canceled midnight release parties and such after her albums leaked, not music, but the visuals. She would still do Target, but not independent music. Well, look, um, she should have known that the music was gonna leak. There's been a lot of things that Nicki feels like Jay-Z sabotaged a lot of stuff going on in her career. Like, like there's been a lot, like even for the past couple of weeks, what was it? That she was going after Jay-Z, she was going after Beyonce, she was going after a bunch of people. And she's had smoke with him ever since the whole drama regarding Lil Wayne not performing at the Super Bowl. I remember like that was when she started asserting herself in a situation and at going after him. Michael Musso has mad the gay Golden Girls was canceled. I talked about that yesterday. First of all, that show was not good. Linda Lavin, I liked her when she was on it. She was definitely funny. Um, it's funny. Was it Linda Lavin or Alice? That's two people from that show that passed away. It was Linda Lavin and Polly Holiday, who played Flo. Man, kiss my grits. Yeah, that was like two people from that show passed away this year. So yeah, I saw his post. But Mid City Modern was not a good show. It was literally a gay version of the Golden Girls, which quiet as it's kept, the Golden Girls is a gay version of the Golden Girls. But that show, it just wasn't that funny. They dumped all 10 episodes on the streaming service at once. And yeah, there's it failed to find an audience. And I'm not going to hold you. It did take me a while to get through that entire season. So it really wasn't keeping like. So I do agree with they were saying it failed to find an audience. Like, who is this made for? These are gay men of a certain age in a sitcom is an icebreaker. And Diz, yeah, hanging up flat screen. Thank you. It was up. So all these dragging, yet both are terrible people with shitty relationships with men and shitty attitudes. So you would think that Nicki and Cardi would get along. They got a lot in common. According to Armand Wiggins, um, he said that Cardi's not the nicest person, but she was nice, I guess, when y'all was cool. Not picking sides, but thinks she pretty, but changing her face, falling behind like bitch, pick up your pace. It was funny till took her place. That could have been about any female. Well, that's true because a lot of them get all that damn surgery. But yeah, that was funny. I said, Nicki definitely can read. Cardi is also an Aries rising, so this explains her aggressive behavior. Always ready to catch a fade. Oh, because I said give the vagina a break. She needs to. Every time I turn around, she pushes out a fucking kid. Because her Doja is only projected about 66,000, which is insane for a 2020s mini pop girl. Mariah is projected to sell more than a modern artist. And why do y'all think that Doja is not really, resonating with people? Is it because they were disappointed with Scarlett? Do you think it's because of a lot of the things she got caught up in? Um, you know, over the years with all the problematic stuff that she posts on social media, the type of guy she's dated or whatever, like a lot of her choices. I mean, she does live her life on social media. Yeah, I could definitely see it helping with album sales. Mid-Sunday Monitor is so bad, I can't even find it on pirate website. I was gonna say, you don't have Hulu? Those were Ice Spice lyrics. That's what she was screaming through the phone about. Um, Minnie Mae Gordon, I hope you are of age up in here watching this mess of a show, unless you're the person that's your kid's picture. Because I'm like, we got age restrictions on this show. I'm not trying to have YouTube come after me. Although I did post something regarding Reading Rainbow. Apparently it is coming back with a new host. So shout out to them. But anyway, now that we moved on from that mess with Cardi B or Barney B and Cocaine Minaj or whatever the hell she said. Not Magical Mermaid being messy. um, let's move on to the Diddler. So yesterday we talked a bit about, because they both in the same metropolitan prison in Brooklyn, Austin Wolf getting 19 years in prison, and when he get out, he got to spend 10 years with supervised, in a supervised situation because they can't trust his own nasty ass around anybody under the age of 21. Quiet as is kept. If he looked like he under the age of 21 and he 25, he need to stay away from him. But anyway, this is not about Miss Wolf, who do drop the soap while you in jail. But apparently because Diddy and him is in the same place, unless I'm wondering if the details, once they're sentenced, do they get moved to a different prison? Anyway, so now prosecutors, because Diddy is going to be sentenced on Friday, which I'm like thinking, oh, I got Friday off, which is good. So I'll be here to do that whole story. It's been a while since I've had a Friday off. But yeah, so apparently prosecutors are asking the judge to sentence Diddy to 11 years. 11 years I sacrifice. You ain't sacrificed shit, but shout out to Mary. 11 years and 3 months in the clink, arguing that the music mogul spent years abusing his power, manipulating women and men, allegedly, and coercing them into sex acts. So let's get into the story. Now, the sentencing recommendation was filed shortly after midnight early on Tuesday, and just several days ahead of Combs' sentencing, which is scheduled for Friday. In July, Combs was convicted by a federal. Do we need to go through this again? But I guess just for a reminder, Because y'all love to remind us in every story. In July, Combs was convicted by a federal jury of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, which each carry a maximum sentence of 10 years. The jury acquitted him on the more serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges against him. In their sentencing memo on Tuesday, prosecutors urged Judge Aaron Submaranian to impose a prison term for no less than 135 months and a $500,000 fine, saying, quote, his crimes of conviction are serious and have warranted sentences over 10 years in multiple cases for defendants who, like Sean Combs, engaged in violence and put others in fear, the prosecutors wrote. A substantial term of imprisonment is also needed in this case because the defendant is unrepentant. This is what they added. During the trial, federal prosecutors accused Combs of using his power, fame, wealth, and influence, as well as violence and threats of blackmail, to coerce 2 of his former girlfriends into taking part in what were described as drug-fueled sexual encounters with male escorts, which we already know they call them freak-offs or hotel nights, which they said Combs orchestrated, watched, diddled with little Diddy, and sometimes filmed. Now, throughout the trial, the defense acknowledged past instances of DV, but denied that any coercion or S trafficking took place and maintained that all sexual activity was consensual and part of a swingers lifestyle. Combs has been held in a Brooklyn federal jail since his arrest of September 2024. Last week, his lawyers asked the court to sentence Combs to 14 months. Child, you done lost your damn mind. And then there was another one that also said that he was behind bars and he's really been influencing and teaching a lot of the inmates on how to be business savvy or whatever the case is. I'm like, does it come with a side of baby oil? Like, are you teaching them how to do like freak offs and things of that nature behind bars too? Because he was out here talking about, and if that's your way of you thinking like, oh, he's been rehabilitating, he's learning his lesson, I'm calling BS on that because being behind in prison, I do not feel like prison rehabilitates you. There should be programs where if you're putting people in prison to rehabilitate them to become better people. But the industry or the prison system, I feel like is a money-making business and they're not in the place of or in the position or wherewithal of wanting to rehabilitate people who are behind bars. The more people they get behind bars, I'm sure a lot of money these people are making behind the scenes. So I don't think that Diddy has learned the error of his ways and has changed his lifestyle and wanted to become a better man. So yeah, they wrote, it's time for Mr. Combs to go home to his family. Alongside their filing, the defense also submitted more than 60 letters of support for Combs, including for members of his family. Well, they don't count because they on the payroll. But also, and probably in the will. And then you had dumbass Carisha, but you can't tell me about them old Miami people. A lot of y'all are just brain dead. Between them and dumb shit Saucy Santana been doing out there lately. And then it's like a lot of y'all are like dense. No shade, but I'm just saying a lot of y'all does not well up here. So of course, she gonna sit up in here and write a strongly worded letter to get him out of the clink. I don't think it'll work. But one person that did write a strongly worded letter is Miss Ventura. Let's see, his ex. So yeah, she came out with a letter and she urging the judge not to let the diddler out of prison because she fears that he's gonna come after her, saying, I am so scared that if he walks free, his first actions will be swift retribution toward me and others who spoke up. Her letter was submitted as part of the government's sentencing recommendation for Combs, who was convicted in July on 2 counts of transporting for prostitution. Prosecutors have recommended an 11-year sentence, as we already stated, for the disgraced hip hop mogul, while the defense seeks 14 months, which include time served, would mean an almost immediate release. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. Now, as y'all remember, Ventura was the government's key witness against Combs. She took the stand for 4 days, where we learned a lot about what was going on in their crazy 11-year relationship, where he physically and sexually abused her for forced her to participate in days-long drug-fueled freak-offs, and we was hearing that she was having some type of, they were talking about all kinds of vaginal issues, yeast infection, this, that, and the other. She wasn't even full-on healed from a lot of stuff because Diddy wanted her vagina to be wore out for hours, sometimes days, so he can get off. Because, a lot of these men that get in these positions of power, regular sex doesn't do it for them. So y'all be sitting over here thinking, oh yeah, I'm freaky. I like to get smacked on my butt while I'm pounding away at some hole. That's your level of freaky. Not somebody like a Diddy. They'll sit up in there with a whole tie and them hanging from a railing, jerking off while they girl getting banged out like she's Lola Falana, dripped in Gabbana on the bed with a bunch of male prostitutes. So they do all kinds of crazy stuff. And it ain't just him. It's like a lot of these rich men, regular sex is just not enough because they've seen it all. They've witnessed it all. They've done it all. So they got to find the craziest, most insane thing. And apparently this was his kink. No kink was too kinky for the diddler. So she also reiterated those allegations in the letter, her first public reflection since testifying in the trial, where she says caused her tremendous emotional pain. Though the court found Combs guilty of transportation, blah, 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 that whole situation, of Miss Ventura and another ex-girlfriend, Jane, he was cleared on the more serious charges for trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. Miss Ventura writes that the jury failed to see all the truths at hand and that she hopes the judge would consider her fear and suffering in handing down a sentence. Saying, quote, if there is one thing I have learned from this experience, it is that victims and survivors will never be safe. Although I can hope for justice and accountability, I've come to not trust anything. Yeah, because our system, end quote, and our system is broken. So I'm with her. Like, I can't trust anything because I thought after my testimony and the way this whole circus was going on, where it's literally like, wasn't it like a month-long trial? That I thought that, justice would be served. That Diddy will be getting a long time, and who knows if how long he'll take. We'll find out on Friday. But I do feel like he needs to do more than some damn 14 months. Y'all lost your freaking mind if you thinking that he gonna get out some damn 14 months. The 11 years, yeah, Mary J. 11 years, her brother, that she has called him that, definitely needs to, and I don't think he gonna cry and shed a tear. Maybe the family will. But yeah, 11 years in jail, that sounds about right in 3 months. Why not? Maybe he'll learn his lesson. He'll get out in 2035. So, and based on some of the stories and things that we've covered on this show, Diddy has gotten away with murder in more ways than one. From the stampede at the basketball event that happened in the 90s to the many times he was dragged in and out of court over crazy stuff. That man has gotten away with a whole lot. And you need to learn that you always thinking that you can get away with things, your money and your power and your this and your that is not going to always help you slither out of certain situations. You do the crime, it's eventually going to come up to you. I'll tell you, you may not pay on the front end, you may not pay on the back end, but eventually you're going to pay for the things that you've done and the harm that you've caused to all the people that you've caused. So we're not going to sit there and act like Diddy is all of a sudden a changed man, that he innocent, that he walks on damn water. Remember when he was like hanging on a cross in that "Hate Me Now" video? Wouldn't we consider that blasphemous? He be walking around like he Jesus. So, oh yeah, so that's why I was telling you about that. They asserted that Combs changed his ways by being held in the Metro Detention Center, which I'm not believing. And they said that fellow inmates wrote to the court that they have had a positive experience with the mogul and that he has been teaching business classes called Free Game with Diddy. Saying, quote, he is a humbled man who understands that the most important things in life are his devotion and quality time with his family and his contributions for the benefits of others. Well, was he spending a lot of quality time and devoting a lot of that time to his kids? No, he was spending more time at them freak offs than he was with them kids. I'm sure he's probably just as good as a parent as Donald Trump is with his children. But anyway, I'm not buying this foolishness. Um, and I guess at this point, we just gonna have to wait and see what happens when he gets his sentence laid down on Friday. We'll see if Cassie's strongly worded letter works. Because all the little stunts that Diddy's defense team has been trying to pull hasn't worked so far. But we'll see what happens when his sentencing is brought forth in what's today? Tuesday? In 3 days. So I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding the diddler and the latest between him and all the mess with Cassie and her sending out her, strongly worded letter, all the other stuff. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Mhm. I think Doja waited too long to drop the lead single, and even that didn't hit. It could be an indicator of her style of music getting outdated or just a flop era. She released a third single yesterday. Oh yeah, I did see that. I just didn't, and you might be onto something because I didn't even care to click on it and watch. Um, Doubt Miss Wolf is gonna see Freedom again as a PDF. Okay, not 11 years at a baby oil factory. And Magical Mermaid, all this shade, and forgot to say hello to everybody. Scarlett also didn't necessarily underperform like V currently is. Maybe this is what happens when you diminish your own albums to hype up the new one. Yeah, because she did say her last album was like a fart. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, then why should these people support what you do? Like, music, what you create is a snapshot of where you was at the time and when you created what you created. You don't need to shit on your own creativity in order to prop up what you got going next. If you want to run around and do new and take more chances and take risks with all types of stuff, then do that. Well, maybe what she's going to have to do is she definitely going to have to tour and see if this era is going to redeem her from the disaster that was this album. I mean, it's helping Dula P. Nobody cared about radical optimism, but that tour definitely slaps. Those guards are on it, okay. The saga is far from over. Okay. Mhm. Did it? Child. Well, I think we already knew that he was gonna be outed. Well, for those who don't understand what's going on with this whole thing, there was apparently a gentleman who said, "Hold on, let me see if I see." Mm-mm. Oh, it's Keith Edwards posted it, but we already knew that Mike Johnson is a closeted homosexual. I mean, I think it's not a big secret, right? I mean, we look at some of these men and we can see that they arrogant, and I've talked about a couple of them on the show. But yeah, there was a article that came out from Dean Blundell's Substack, which basically said a man threatened to release Speaker Mike Johnson's Grindr profile and IP address unless he swears in Adelita Grijalva by Wednesday. So he got until tomorrow, but apparently it's already come out. But I'll have to watch that video, and who knows, maybe I'll save that for another story when we get into that. But yeah, this is she a Republican or is she? Oh no, she's a Democrat from Arizona, right? But he was talking about he gonna release the Grindr profile. And when I saw that, I was like, child, release it any damn way. They ain't gonna release the Epstein files, at least release his Grindr profile. But look, there's a lot of these old closet cases that's running behind the scenes. Well, apparently his son is not doing a good enough job monitoring his porn profiles and things. Check it. Oh yeah. Yeah, that queen. You can tell by them glasses that he's a homosexual. I think people are done with the 80s. I heard people want the 2000s to come back. Well, I think that's kind of like that's kind of where we are right now. Like the 80s music scene, it's not where we are musically. I feel like the 90s and the 2000s kind of like where people are at, especially when it comes to dance music. People aren't really into the whole 80s thing. So, by the time she was done with that record, it's like, okay, we done moved on from that sound. Yeah, they need to do more than gerrymander that queen. But anyway, let's move on with the rest of the show. And let's talk about Miss Jennifer, who Miss Delola is having another Delulu moment. So she recently did an interview, which we talked a bit about yesterday, which was about Ben Affleck and she was about Kiss of the Spider Woman. She's promoting the movie that comes out on the 10th. I believe that's next week. So yeah, she did CBS Monday Morning, where she sat down with Lee Cowan and basically said that her voice was shaped by a love of Broadway musicals, which she considers her natural style. So, as y'all know, Jennifer soared to superstardom, starting with the title role in 1997's Selena. But then again, remember, she was in A Living Color. She did a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, Miss Beady Beady Bomb Bomb was the launch of her career. Now, from her stint as a fly girl on A Living Color in the 90s to her beloved rom-coms on her TV series roles like Shades of Blue and a bunch of others, J-Lo has managed to snag a piece of Black movie lovers' hearts with her acting roles. Her music, not so much. Now, despite what some would deem mediocre singing and allegations that R&B singer Ashanti was the real voice behind some of her hits, don't forget Natalie Ramos too. No one and Christina Milian. No one would deny Lopez and the box office go together real bad. Her movies have become classics and household favorites in Black households, and many Black folks want her to stick to just that, movies. So, shout out to The Root because they went in on this. But during her interview, I should say, Lopez said that her singer voice is better suited for theater and Broadway and said because she grew up singing musicals and she loves musicals and and that's how she learned to sing because her mother was big on musicals and whenever musicals would come on, like she and her would sit and watch the videos. I remember at one point wasn't for kind of set up to be a lawyer or something or another, and then she kind of like teetered off into wanting to be an artist or something or another because she said one of her other sisters wanted to sing opera. First of all, we need to hear her voice. Like, do you sound like Jesse Norman? Do you sound like Sophia or Crystal? I'm naming drag queens. I mean, do you have that kind of voice where you could do opera? But anyway, I have the clip, courtesy of TikTok. We gonna play the clip so y'all can hear her go into her Delulu era. And as people commenting on my TikToks, I had to close those. And then we'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
Have a voice that's more suited to theater as opposed to the stage.
I have said that, and it's true.
What does that mean?
When I grew up singing musicals because I loved musicals, and I remember going to my first Broadway show, and it was how I learned to sing. And so that's kind of how I trained my own voice. So then when I started singing pop music and stuff, it was like nobody knew that I could sing in that way. And then when I started singing these songs, and if I sang My Man Somewhere from Barbara Streisand or something, people were like, oh my God, you can sing like that? And I was like, yeah, actually, I prefer singing in that way. That to me is more my natural voice.
What was the first Broadway?
The first Broadway show I ever saw was Song and Dance. And it was with Bernadette Peters. I think my aunt took me to it. She had tickets and she took me for my birthday or something. And she said, I have never felt like this. And I just fell in love with it. I was just like, oh my God, I love this so much. But that was the first one I saw. And then I saw Dreamgirls. It was a big deal. And then when I was a dancer, I saw Chorus Line because they were expensive and we couldn't go to shows like that all the time.
Yeah.
And now I take my kids to see as many shows as I can.
Do you really?
Yeah.
So what do they think of music?
They love music. I have a musical theater kid right now. And so I'm living my best life. They like go away to camp for musical theater and they do all the shows and I get to see them and it's fantastic. And I try to expose them to all that stuff that my mom did for me because I know how much it impacted my life.
You think they'll go into the business?
I don't know. This generation is different. It's not as, I don't know, maybe because my kids are growing up different than I did.
Yeah.
So I grew up kind of with nothing and they're growing up, very kind of privileged in a way. And it's different. So I don't know that they have that same ambition and, drive and push that I have.
Or that far off goal that
That they're like, I'm just going to live my life and be happy. I think they're more interested in being happy, which I'm really glad about. I always told them I want them to do good in school. And I remember sitting them both down, maybe them they were about 10 or 11 years old. And I was like, do you understand what I want for you when I tell you to do this or that? I forgot what we were talking about. And yes, you care about grades, but you don't care about them as much as character. I said, yes, I want you to have good grades, but I want you to be good people.
Yeah.
That's what's important to me.
Okay, so we can stop it there because it was gonna pause. But yeah, so child, after she said what she said, the people over there at the neighborhood talk Instagram comments, y'all are shady as hell. So shady to the point that I'm petty enough that I want to read what some of the people were saying. So let's get into her. One person said, this type of delusion needs to be studied at a postgraduate level, one person said. A second person wrote, she can sing, she just don't sound good when she do it. Another social media user penned how they were insulted on behalf of the talented Broadway singers, while someone else wrote, even the interviewer looking at her like, oh, is you cool? One person commented, now, Jennifer, your voice was trained for talking, babe, which brings up the next point. Black folks love J-Lo's movies. So, yeah. So she basically, they said that. And one person said, this why Mariah Carey don't like her. And another person said, she was born to sing solo. Solo, no one can hear. Y'all are messy. Now here's the thing. Somebody said, nah, your voice is better for singing in the shower. Another person said, girl, bye. And she had the nerve to tell me no on American Idol. Oh, let me find out you told somebody that's in the comments that tried out for American Idol and she turned you down. Well, you feeling a little bit of bitterness there. So it's like, oh, this my get back. Well, all right, Jade, you better get her. Okay, and another person said, okay, I read that one. They say if she could sing on Broadway and Trump could be our president with felonies, that means my options are endless. Never settle, guys. So we're just gonna stop it there because I feel like we gave her enough of a lashing. But yeah, no, Jennifer, let's be clear. I don't think you ever had any intention of being a singer or whatever the case was. You were a dancer. That got you through the door. Then you were acting and all that other stuff. Selena came along. It was a great opportunity. I think because you was feeling yourself with being up on and doing that whole scene with Selena in a purple outfit and selling out the stadium, I think in Texas and that sort of thing. And you like the roar of the crowd and all that other stuff that may have hyped you up to be like, you know what? I think I might want to jump in and sing it. Now, being a pop star, it don't require much. You don't have to have the best singing voice in the world. And that's fine. But also, let's point out that one thing we could say about Miss Jennifer, and I'm not going to lash her too hard. Well, I think we lashed her enough. I feel like she has improved. Stevie Macker is her vocal coach. Shout out to him because and funny enough, I just watched an interview that he did earlier. I can't remember the name of the person he sat down with, but it's on YouTube. He did an interview where he was talking about like being a vocal coach and singing and all that other stuff, and he dropped some jewels in that whole interview. So I was thoroughly impressed with him, and he has definitely trained Jennifer to do what she's able to do with what she has. Now, as far as her getting on Broadway, because like I said, she's a pop act. You can get up there, you can sing your little songs and stuff over, a dance beat, whatever the case is. You can pretty much do all the things. They got enough bells and whistles where they can do the pitch correct, all the other stuff is fine. But if you're thinking you can do 8 shows a week on Broadway and sing down like a Bernadette Peters or a Audra McDonald or any of those girls, ma'am, the range ain't there. So, and it's no shade. I'm just saying, it's like, how many times have I told, I was gonna say how many times I told this girl, like she gonna listen to me. I mean, stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. And I love the fact that you pretty much have like high standards for yourself and, have to be like, if I don't believe in me, who else will? But we also have to be aware of our limitations. And I don't get theater from you because I heard your vocals on this Kiss of the Spider. That's I don't know if they released the official album yet, but the single that you released for the Kiss of the Spider Woman, I could definitely still hear, even in you doing taking more of the Broadway thing. I could still hear your vocal limitations in the way you interpreted those songs. So music is basically about bringing your personality out and telling a story with your voice. But I think a lot of times in people's heads, y'all think that being a singer requires thinking y'all level of idea of singing is they gotta sound like Whitney, they gotta sound like Barbara Streisand, they gotta sound like they gotta have like that high peak of vocal. And it's like, no, everybody has their own little thing. And if you able to interpret or incorporate your personality in the way you in the style you do your music, that's great. Same thing like with Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish has sort of like this Bing Crosby-esque jazzy type of vibe that she brings to her music. So it's like everybody has their own little personality. But we're not gonna sit up here and act obtuse because if you actually they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you sound like that, because that's what she was saying in the video. Oh, they gagged when they heard like, oh, you could sing like that too. Now, sis, if you was this great singer, like you making yourself out the sound, then why was you using Ashanti vocals on some of your songs? Why was you using Natalie Ramos's vocals on some of your songs? And or even like if you listen to a lot of her earlier stuff on the chorus, she would use other people's entire vocal and that would be left on there. So if you had such this amazing voice, like you trying to make it try to sound, you wouldn't have been able to get up in there and layer down your vocals on them things instead of you pretending that was your voice on a lot of those songs, and the girls having to make whole TikTok think pieces talking about how the industry did them dirty to prop you up, including Mariah Carey having to come out and say like all the shade that or the little shady things that her ex-husband Tommy Mottola was doing, using you as a Trojan horse to sabotage her career because she decided to leave his little controlling ass and wanted to go off and be Miss Independent Woman. Part 1, 2, and 3. Shout out to Beyonce. So yeah. So look, so Black Twitter was basically like, in addition to all of that, they want Jennifer to stick to the Rivers and the Lakes, and the Rivers and the Lakes being the movies. The music, yeah, I guess people not really feeling the music thing because nobody's supporting her music when it comes out. She got to go overseas to make a profit. But in America, it's like, unless you're a hardcore J lover, nobody cares what you putting out musically. Because if that was the case, but This Is Me Now wouldn't have been a flop. So yeah, we had Selena in 97. Then she played Cameron Sisko opposite George Clooney in Out of Sight, which I love that movie, in 1998. And I always said that I like when she did more of the kind of the leading actress that can hold her own type, very much that tough cop. Like she definitely gave that. Then she's been in a bunch of, y'all know, The Wedding Planner, where that was the first time, and I'm probably the only time where she had a #1 movie and a #1 album, and that was in 2001 with The Wedding Planner and the J-Lo album at the same time. Then she had Made in Manhattan, where Tyler Posey played her son. I'm like, damn, time flies. And then she did Monster in Law with Jane Fonda. And so she was definitely the queen of the box office at one point. And you know, and out of the many movies of Jennifer Lopez, there's a lot of guilty pleasures that I have with her acting. Anaconda, her Anaconda do, and Enough. I love Enough. I hated that wig in the third act, but I love Enough. Enough is enough, which is actually a Barbara Streisand and Donna Summer song. But and then of course I liked her as Ramona Vega, no relation to Yolanda, in Hustlers, where we thought she was going to get an Oscar, but that's what she said, and also in the interview that she's learning not have high expectations. I mean, it'd be great to get an award, but and so, and then remember the controversy that happened when she did the I'm Real remix. Speaking of which, I'm Real, but that whole chorus wasn't even Jennifer Lopez, the original version. I'm not talking about the I'm Real remix with Ja Rule, where she said the N word and y'all dragged her from Kingdom Come for saying that. So yeah, when I was talking about the whole thing of like regarding, so it's cute or whatever that you have these delusions of grandeur, because like I said, at the end of the day, if you don't believe in you, who else will? But Let's not sit up in here and act like that. Okay, if you're this amazing singer, then why weren't you so forthcoming regarding who was really singing background on a lot of the music that you was putting out? So that's what I'm just saying. So if you're gonna say it, of course we gotta come back and be like, nah, sis. Even the interviewer was kind of looking at her like, ma'am, mommy. That whole situation. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Christopher out here talking about that her singing voice is more suited for theater? If that's the case, sis, then I feel like your next move need to be I need to try to take on the challenge of being on Broadway, not a Broadway movie. Broadway movies are different. Go on Broadway. I want to see you be able to hold your own 8 nights a week without all the bells and whistles and see how well you do. Broadway is a whole totally different beast. I've been to enough Broadway shows, luckily enough, with my upbringing. And it's funny because I came from humble, poor beginnings. Then my parents became middle class. And then we had the opportunity to go see a lot of Broadway plays. And there's been Broadway plays that I've been able to see. Funny enough, my job is doing 4 ticket giveaways to go see Hugh Jackman in his final night, which is this weekend at Radio City. I'm contemplating it, but I'm like, do I want to sit and look at well, I would definitely love to sit and look at Hugh Jackman, but I don't know if I want to sit and look at Hugh Jackman singing a bunch of torch songs and show tunes. Although I told you I was this close with him in the elevator. Took a lot out of me to want to jump on top of it and climb that man. That's a big man. But anyway, it's not about Hugh Jackman. This is about Jennifer. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments. And I'll see there's a lot of comments down below. Okay. Oh my God, there's so many. Did I read this one? Yeah. The 80s sound of mainstream music is getting so boring and predictable. The 80s trend started in the beginning of the decade, and she's doing it 5 years too late. She should have done it for Planet Her. Yeah. Yes, the 90s, 2000s, plastic pop. Remember now that's what I call music. I kind of miss that era. That's why she wasn't sworn in because she's the vote to get the Epstein files out. Oh yeah, and that's what it's like. Okay, well, since you want to sit up out here and be messy, we're gonna be messy too, and so we're gonna out you as a closeted homosexual. Please do. They was out and Mike Pence and a bunch of them too. I've had it, ladies. I posted that video on my Facebook. They went in and was doing a whole lot of exposure. Marco Rubio apparently was caught out there back in the day cruising some notorious park in Florida and got his record, like the charges and everything dropped. I was like, yeah, I could definitely see Marco Rubio being a closet case. They had Mike Pence, bunch of others. There's a politician by the name of BJ who was giving BJs. How appropriate, right? I like it when people experiment with the 80s sound since Ethel Kane did it really well recently, and she's considered an indie artist. Well, I think like, look, I love a synth. I'm a sucker for a synth. But when y'all try to be too on the nose with the 80s sound, it's just like, I'm not that impressed. The Switched on Pop podcast just released a new episode with the title Doja Cat is the new What? I don't care how much Doja is inspired by Janet. Her music is not the music. Oh, so you don't. So I guess you don't like V. Not singing what way tone deaf. We all heard her trying to. Mm, at least she gives real answers to questions, unlike Mariah, who barely could. Have y'all noticed that Mariah has been slurring a lot of her words? Even like she sounds lazy, even answering her questions. I'm like, you taught like how you perform. Which I will say this, I think a lot of the way she's kind of been coming across as of late, her live performances, her interviews, and things of that nature, it's kind of like why I've been hesitant to even listen. I haven't listened to her new album yet, and it's because so much other music has come out. I haven't even given Mariah a gander. I'll get around to it eventually, but right now it's just so much other things that my top priority. She's not one of them, and y'all know I grew up on Mariah. There's a video where she was trying to I remember. Was that the one where she got frustrated? That video. I wish I would have found that and played that to be, part of the show. Jennifer has the drive. That's why she is in the place she is. You're absolutely right. That is the reason. And I think a lot of people get it misconstrued. So we can make fun of the fact that, oh, she's not the greatest singer. There's quiet as it's kept. There's a lot, trust and believe, a lot of people that the singing is a choice. However, the tenacity, the drive that they have is why the work ethic, that's why she is where she is. She's willing to work her ass off and is very she perseveres and she's very resilient. And that's why she's successful. When you put your mind to something, you're like, I'm locked in and I'm focused and I'm going to do what needs to be done. Can't nobody stop you. They said the same thing about Madonna. Although I do think Madonna's a much better singer than Jennifer. But and we've heard Madonna sing live. We've heard Madonna sing, especially her singing got significantly better once she started to train her voice. Now, if there was anybody that at the time of like the Ray of Light era, the reinvention tour especially, there was some Broadway style of singing that Madonna was doing, particularly on that tour. Especially the scene where she's in the electric chair. When she's singing in that part, I was like, she's giving me that Broadway bravado. Yeah, and she was screaming and was like, oh yeah, I remember that one. I feel bad for. Well, look, Stevie Mackey thinks that she's gotten better, so don't feel bad for him. He getting paid. She leads her career not sitting by the phone like many famous. Unrealistic goals. Leo's the narcissism. Well, look, my father's a Leo. I know too many damn Leos. My father's sister's a Leo. I have. It's like we're all kind of close to each other. I got a lot of Capricorns in my family that I'm close with. A lot of Leos, a lot of Virgos, quite a few Libras. Like Jesus. Nicole shits on a nigga, can sing, but she didn't have much of a solo career. And what about Fergie? Well, speaking of Stevie Mackey, he was Fergie's vocal coach too, and Selena Gomez. Um, First of all, Nicole Scherzinger has some good bops as a solo artist. I just saw a video the other day of Miss Vanjie performing to Nicole Scherzinger's "Poison." I do love that damn song, and that was Red One that produced that. That's why I think that song stands out to me. I was like, "Oh yes, this is the perfect drag queen song." So Nicole has some bops. Just y'all didn't care when that album came out. I bump it every now and again. Shit, I might listen to it tomorrow. Speaking, you see that whole thing. I did, but I don't care about that long jawed ugly bitch, which is why I didn't talk about her because that woman is just evil. She's unhappy. Or does not tell you like there's a lot of people out here that is like all the money in the world. They're so unhappy with who they are as people. It shows how hateful JK. She, of course, she is. Maybe being shamelessly delusional is Jennifer's greatest talent. Well, like I said, if she don't believe in her, who will? My son-in-law was good. Out of Sight was Soderbergh, I think. Yeah, I think he did direct that. When I missed, I signed up for notices and I'm not getting the. Ooh, well, you may have to unsubscribe and then subscribe again because I don't know why the notifications aren't coming in. Well, look, we about I don't remember how many topics we did. I'll get to that in a second. I'll let you know. Um, Not Angela Bassett, and you think she's gonna get an honorary Oscar? How many times we did? Um, about six, I think. Yeah, about six topics. So wait, hold on. Not an Angela Bassett moment. Let me hurry up and get through these things. It said, I want to be an EGOT. I want to be an EGOT. I want to be an EGOT. Got, an EGOT, got. You know, I could turn anything into a damn song. Oh, yeah, I forgot Megan Trainor vocals on Ain't Your Mama, where Megan Trainor don't even look like Megan Trainor no more. That girl lost so much weight. She can't hold a note for 2 seconds. Now she want us to believe she can carry a whole bro. And being able to sing and dance. Fresh baked chocolate chip cookies over here. And not you having chocolate chip cookies. Oh, you talking about Mariah, obviously. That's what happens when you have 80 music releases. I heard a Mariah song where she using that whistle note like 1,000 times, and I'm like, how is she duplicating this live on stage? She better not try. Well, you think it's pre-recorded? A lot of the Leos I know are August Leos. Like my father's an August Leo, my aunt's an August Leo. Yeah, I know my cousins are August Leo. It's like, yeah, they're all in August. I don't think I know any July. I might know some July, but I don't know any July off the top of my head. But anyway, let's get back into the show, y'all. And let's get to this story. So apparently, Time 100 released or revealed their most influential rising star list. And it should come as no surprise that Miss Tate McRae is on there along with Gracie. I don't know why I want to call her Stacey Abrams so damn bad. Stacey Abrams is the politician. But I've been wanting to call her Stacey Abrams so bad, but it's Gracie Abrams, J.J. Abrams' daughter. And we have Tate McRae, who I'm going to be doing her show in a couple of weeks, actually. Um, and GloRilla and a bunch of others. So let's get into the tea. Shout out to Billboard for this story. So Time has unveiled its 2025 list of the world's biggest rising stars, and among them are several major pop, Latin, country, and hip hop musicians. So on Tuesday, that'd be today, September 30th, the publication revealed that Tate McRae, Gracie Abrams, GloRilla, and more have all been named on this year's Time 100 Next ranking. Uh, so also they have on the list Becky G. I do like Becky G, and she's definitely been on the rise for a while now. Rima, Fuerza Regida. Shout out to them because I like Fuerza Regida. I actually worked their show. I'm trying to remember if it was probably earlier this year. That was a good show. Tiana Taylor and Lainey Wilson, and I think Lainey Wilson's also coming to my job in a couple of weeks too. Also made the list, which serves to provide a snapshot of the moment and to recognize those who we feel are truly changing the world this year. This is according to Time. Now, the honorees each received blurbs that close friends or collaborators wrote for them. Billboard September chart breaker Audrey Hobart penned the entry for her lifelong bestie and co-songwriter Abrams. She is protective and beautifully sensitive. Hobart praised the pop star, while Selena Gomez shared why she loves Becky G, saying, Becky G has never let the world define her. The rare beauty found a role of the Latin music star. She's always defined herself with her powerful voice. This is what I always found annoying about these sites is that when you're in the middle of reading, they like to jump around. And I'm like, why? She has always defined herself with her powerful presence. Through the years, I have watched her excel not only as an artist but also as a woman, an advocate, and a voice of our community. McRae, who graces the cover of one of the 3 Time 100 Next issues published this week, got praise from materialist star Dakota Johnson, saying Tate is magnetic. I can't wait to watch her artistry unfold and evolve while she sinks further into the DNA of pop music. Now, one of the other cover stars, Jonathan Bailey, was honored by his Wicked star, Ariana Grande, who said, I'm so thankful that I get to spend so much time with this incredibly gifted, playful, and caring human being who is so endlessly curious about art and life that many of which ways they intertwine. I'll forever be along for the ride. Now, in addition to musicians, the Top 100 Next ranking also features actors, producers, political figures, activists, entrepreneurs, and innovators. Last year, Sabrina Carpenter was featured on the ranking, while SZA and Dula Peep have been honored in years past. Now, oh wait, hold on, because actually what I want to do is because y'all haven't seen the covers. I was like, do they even have it in here? We just got Tate, who's cute, by the way, and Gracie. We have the Instagrammy. We'll just leave that up there. On the annual project, Times editor-in-chief Sam Jacobs wrote, "While we made it our mission to cover people who have reached the pinnacle of their fields, the Top 100 Next is the opportunity to recognize those still on the rise. We've known the true influence knows no age and that it can arrive early in a career." And if you believe this, then I feel like y'all need to really highlight that because y'all said that true influence knows no age. But that don't mean that all y'all do is flood the zone with a bunch of young people. So, yeah, so it said that it could arrive early in the career. This year's class is no exception to that tradition. So, yeah, there's the cover of Miss Tate with and I think that's they said as they have three covers, but it'd been nice if they could have put up one. So yeah, so it says her footprint is undeniable: 8 million followers on Instagram, just over 13 million on TikTok, and nearly 55 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Why do you like some of her songs? It's okay, I'm okay. It's a cute one. You know, she's got a lot of really cute bops. I like Greedy. Um, so yeah, Tate McRae definitely like she's not one of my favorites, and I'll definitely let y'all know how her show was when I work it finally. But um, she got some cute songs. For McRae, an average night in 2025 means performing to tens of thousands of screaming fans in arenas around the world. But when the lights go down and she finally closes her eyes, the scenes that follow are far less glamorous. McRae says she doesn't dream, she only has nightmares. She says that when she sleeps, her subconscious conjures dark images like visions of a massive spider crawling up my wall coming to attack me. At 8, McRae was already channeling her angst into writing poetry and what she calls dark and twisted short stories. Well, maybe she's incorporated a lot of more of that in her music. The tension, fear after the lights go out, fearlessness under them sits at the core of McRae's appeal. At 22, the dancer turned songwriter challenges her energy into sleek, high impact pop, building an arena sized community that sees itself in her extremes. Saying, quote, "It's so ironic that in front of 20,000 people, I have way less fear than sitting in a small room. I feel safe on stage, and I feel like this is my moment where I can take it as far as I want." Off stage, she considers herself a raging introvert. When she's not on tour, she spends most of her nights at home, or more realistically, a hotel room. She keeps a tight circle of friends, including Olivia Rodrigo and Iris Apatow, and is intensely spiritual. She also tends to avoid. Look, Madonna did say you can't have this, all of this, without being having a spiritual center. She also tends to avoid social media whenever possible, saying, "I think when people meet me, they get really confused because of my public persona versus who I am." And I think you have to kind of have that, like that way that you separate who you are from the persona that you present on stage. It's like that's why you have people who create, like when you look at Beyonce with Sasha Fierce or Stephanie Germanotta with Lady Gaga. You have to create these personas where it's like, I get to take all of this off and I could be me. And when I'm on stage, I get to become this character because in real life, I am an introvert. I am a bit shy. I'm not somebody who has the confidence to get up there and just be, you know, this grandiose, larger than life persona. So I create this character that gives me permission to do that. And what the people saying in the comments, one person wrote, "One more in a long row of average instant stars. Sadly, soon will be replaced and forgotten because she offers nothing authentic or and memorable." Another person said, "Can we stop worshiping influencers? They're single-handedly destroying our planet." No, I think the people who are destroying our planet are in the White House and the enablers they have on the Democratic side. Now, another person said, "WDYM, she's not our little secret anymore." Another person said, "A pop star of our generation. She's not our little secret anymore and getting all the recognition she deserves. Sweetest human being." And another person put, "These people in these comments are absolutely miserable with their life in the shows." And look, I always say, like, y'all talk, "Oh, she offers nothing." And it's like, you may consider her basic, you may consider all these things, but we said it earlier. It's not about the talent and everything per se. It's about how hungry are you that you want the things that comes with the success and all the other stuff. How far are you willing to go and push yourself? So she's definitely one of the, you know, out here working her ass off trying to become the big iconic pop star that she feels that she is. And if you don't like the artist, don't listen to them. There's plenty of artists out here I don't particularly understand how they are, where they are, and I just don't listen to them. You can say the same thing about Tate or whoever else on this list. So I won't go on to say to this. Um, I'm looking forward to when they finally release that list because they were just telling the article they only gave us a couple, but I would love to know who's on the official, like every person that's on that list. So I sort of say, based off of what you've heard so far, what do you think of the people that made this list of Time's 100 most influential rising stars? And who do you think as a rising star that you would like to see on the list that you're not aware of if they're on the list, but if you like them, put them in the chat. So I want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. I like Tate and Gracie, but I don't like their albums as much as I like their singles. I also can't say I stand or support them fully. They're kind of boring. I love Tate's VMA performance. Yeah, Tate McRae was definitely giving cat in the litter tease, but during that performance. But I do agree. It's like, yeah. I think because I'll speak for me, I was pretty much spoiled with the way that we got our pop divas. Like when you would look at the Beyoncés, the Gagas, the Madonnas, the Kylies, and those type of pop acts, we got so much that came with that. A lot of these new generation pop stars, it's like, yeah, I would definitely find a Gracie Abrams to be boring. She doesn't really stand out to me. She's like just some regular chick that you would probably see on a stage at Lilith Fair if it was 20 years ago. And Tate is like, okay, we've seen the sassy white girl whip her hair back and forth and do crazy, sickening choreography. So we got that from Britney 20 years ago. So what new are you offering, you know, the pop girlies and the fandom? It's crazy how Selena and Haley became billionaire. Okay. Well, did they or did Selena become a billionaire first? I think Selena hit her billionaire status before Haley did. I am enjoying the Weakest Link Celebrity Edition. I didn't even know that was out. I may have to check that. I know they did a Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, and they had Derek Huffine behind on there. And child, we already know that Ryan Gaycrest and Vanna White don't get along. It is kind of boring. It's become boring and conservative. Besides Sabrina and Taylor, I've been reading a lot of books instead of discovering new albums as of late. Yeah, because a lot of music hasn't been standing out. That's why I've just been staying in my whole house head situation, where it's like because the pop girls are not really giving. Um, really, she taking her to court. Cynthia Erivo is still right. Yeah, she definitely is. So shout out to her. Mm, not me yawning on camera. All right, y'all. So now let's move on and let's talk about Luigi Mangione, who y'all probably already know. This week, we're going to be getting a new season of Monster. This with Ed Gein, played by Charlie Hunnam, which actually looks really good. I definitely am gonna watch it. I know we're gonna get a bunch of, a lot of BS thrown up in there. But nevertheless, it'll be entertaining. And if I want to know like the real Ed Gein stuff that was going on, there's plenty of documentaries that I can sit documentaries, both of them, that I can sit down and do deep dives and really get into what Ed Gein was all about. But we already know when it comes to the Monster series, it's for sheer entertainment. It's not for actual accuracy. But anyway, so and then the next season is supposed to be about Lizzie Borden, which I forgot who they said is the other actors is going to be in it, but I know Charlie Hunnam is going to play Lizzie Borden's father. Now, after all of that, there have been people online that have been saying that they want a Luigi Mangione version of Monster, which I don't know if I actually am here for that. But apparently, Ryan Murphy has responded to what people have been chatting about on social media. Because y'all know Luigi Mangione was accused of powering United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson back in late last year, which I think was like in December or something or another. So the Emmy-winning television creator and writer revealed that he has, in fact, considered developing a season of his Netflix true crime anthology Monster about Mangione while speaking to Variety for a larger profile on Charlie Hunnam, who's set to portray serial killer and body snatcher Ed Gein in the upcoming season of Monster, saying, "We have a maybe one day file," Murphy said, "of stories that just aren't ready yet," confirming that Mangione is on his radar. However, it's much too early to map out that narrative, saying, "We know nothing about him. There was nothing to write. He didn't have information. We didn't have information yet. So maybe something will come out in the trial." Now, Mangione, who was a 26-year-old from Maryland, captured national attention after he was taken into custody for the fatal pow-powing of Thompson during the early hours of December 4th, 2024, outside of a hotel in Manhattan. Prosecutors have maintained that Mangione was driven by anger against the healthcare industry and corporate greed, citing personal diary entries obtained following his arrest. Now, this is what I wonder, because if y'all going to talk about Monster, if you're going to call this season Monster, who was the monster? Is it the person who was sick and tired of being taken care of by big pharma, or are we in the insurance industry, or is the monsters really corporate America? United Healthcare. They're the real enemies. They're the ones that have more blood on their hands with the amount of people that had to die because they denied them the wherewithal to help deal with whatever ailments that they had. That they buy into these insurances that's supposed to, if anything happens to them, that the insurance is supposed to cover whatever it is that they can't cover. They're having to pay out of pocket. People having to go bankrupt or forego treatments because they can't afford to get the help that they need health wise. Our healthcare system is trash in America. It really is. People shouldn't have to be doing co-payments on things. Healthcare should be free. It's a right as a human being to get healthcare, not a privilege, not something that you earn. It should just be that you're born into the United States. You should be given automatically free healthcare. How come other countries are giving free healthcare, but we can't have it? You're giving free healthcare to all these other countries with our tax-paying dollars, Israel, but we can't get it? Okay. So I honestly don't think that Monster or Luigi Mangione should get a Monster story, because, like they were saying, they don't know his story. He hasn't gone to trial yet. Now, if you want to do one on Diddy, you could do that. But if we're gonna be doing like Monster, no. And first of all, I'm glad that he's focusing more on the Monster franchise instead of American Horror Story, because American Horror Story ain't been good in about 6, 7 seasons. So I'm glad he's kind of put that on the back burner and is focusing on the Monster, because it seems like the creative juices are flowing there, and we're getting more of the horror through the Monster franchise than we were with them uninspired stuff that you was putting in American Horror Story. And that last one with Kim Kardashian, that was just straight up blasphemous. So, um, Mangione is currently in jail. He was indicted on 11 counts in April. And he's supposed to go on trial, I believe, in 2026, right? So, and we've heard the rumors, like, I know some people are like, well, as an actor, who should play Mangione? Obviously, Dave Franco. They kind of look alike. So, Dave Franco would be a perfect choice. I mean, I would watch it just for Dave Franco being cast in it. He's such a cutie. But other than that, the whole series needs to be a chop. Them. I don't see how you could even turn Luigi Mangione's story into like something that would be series worthy. It'd probably have to be like a 3 or 4-parter, like something like a little mini series. So if they can find a way to come up with some interesting ideas regarding the story, it'd be great. But I just feel like with Luigi Mangione, he seemed more as like a anti-hero than an actual monster or a villain. So he doesn't fit the narrative of a Jeffrey Dahmer or an Ed Gein. But then again, some people looked at the Menendez brothers as not necessarily being like full-on villains. There are people that empathize with, I mean, if the stories is true about them being essayed by their father, some people have taken empathy with the Menendez brothers. So maybe the Menendez brothers are kind of like in the same boat as the Luigi Mangione. It's like, we get why they did what they did. We don't agree with you what you did, but if the stories prove true that you were essayed by your father, we get why you did what you did to your parents. Your mother was a co-conspirator who looked the other way, while your dad did unspeakable things to you. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Would you like to see Ryan Murphy take on Luigi Mangione's story and turn it into something. I know a lot of people would just feel a way about how Ryan Murphy can be a little heavy-handed with and exploitative with the way he tells certain stories, where it teeters a little bit too much on ridiculousness and camp. So I don't know if people would trust him with handling that type of story because he tends to go off the rails after a couple of episodes. That's the track record. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. First episode, they had many Glee class members or Glee cast members who said, "Yeah, leave Luigi alone." Emma Beatty is playing Lizzie. Warren Beatty and okay, thank you. Ryan, the show should be about Luigi's fans and a couple of. But how long would you make that episode? Luigi, a homicidal love story. AHS has been good since New York. The one about eight. Was that the gay one? Quiet as it's kept, some people would say that it hasn't been good since Coven. But at least you gave it a couple more ones. They can do monster about not JD Vance eyeshadow, smoky eyes, as the ladies from I've Had It podcast calls him. Smoky eyed, and then what they call him, a failed drag queen. In my opinion, HS has been good since Apocalypse. That's coming from a retired super fan of the show. Yeah, you know that show. And a $1 million GoFundMe. Wait, who had the GoFundMe? Was it Luigi? And some people say he come from money, but like I said, just because you come from a family that makes money doesn't necessarily mean that you have access to that money. Mm-mm. No, I didn't get a chance to. Who is this Ty Riviera? Is it Ty Rivera? Oh, I do not like that bitch. I was not. Once you told me the name, it's the one that be having all them damn tattoos. Look like he's been injected with a bunch of damn fixer flat in his face. He says that he's a comedian, but isn't he very much a Trumpian? Yeah, 'cause they said Ty Riviera, the self-proclaimed absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world, has been shocking, entertaining, and educating audiences with his stand-up for over 16 years. So yeah, I remember hearing, yeah, it said a gay comedian shares his experience with redneck audiences, gay pride parades, and the challenges of dating as a homosexual. So what happened with Miss Ty Rivera? Why we hating on her? Put me on. Usually, you would think. And there's been many a comedians where I've done their shows. I'm like, so where's the jokes? When's it coming? Anyway, I was like, have I ever said I have checked out some of his I have checked out some of his videos in the past regarding like some of the comments. I think it was like I think maybe what got me on him, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he did a video on Austin Wolf. I think that was when I became aware of him. And so I watched some of his videos and um I did watch some of his videos and I was just like, while he made some valid points, there was some also some moments I was like, okay, Queen, calm down. First of all, this video was a little too damn long. And number two, I was just like, okay, you're doing the most. Not you, I can kiss my eyes. Okay, so now, speaking of Ryan Murphy, wait, did I not make a oh hold on now. Apparently I did not make a headline for this one. I could have sworn I did. Hold on, because I now gotta make a new banner. All right, take two and action. So speaking of Ryan Murphy, let's get into Indya Moore, who is going in on Ryan Murphy over his lack of support for the trans community because y'all know Ryan Murphy was behind this FX series Pose. And Indya Moore played Angel Evangelista, who ended up marrying Lil Poppy in the final season on Pose. And for someone who has been very much an advocate for giving a lot of trans women, especially trans women of color, a platform on a network like FX, you would think that he would come to the defense of the trans community in regards of all the anti-trans attacks that's been trickling down on the community since you know who's been in the White House. Ain't even been a year yet. So yeah, she did a long video. I would have played it for y'all, but the video was 30 minutes. I was like, if y'all want, y'all can go over to Indya's Instagram. She posted about 2 days ago and did a long video regarding what's been happening and all this other stuff. So in the emotional 30-minute long Instagram reel posted on Sunday, that'll be the 28th of September, Moore, who is best known as Angel Evangelista, urged Murphy to do more for the trans community. Now, Moore began the video by weeping and offering thanks to anybody who has ever supported trans people ever. The actress and activist continued by reflecting on the current climate for trans people in America, particularly how the community is being increasingly demonized as a threat while having their rights stripped. Saying, quote, I have never thought that our belief that people should be free or that we should be free from harm or violence could ever be conceptualized as threatening. I really genuinely never knew. How do you go from trans people are mentally ill, they'll need help, to trans people are terrorists? Y'all can't make up your mind about how you want to view us as weak and a target to bully or as strong and a threat. But mind you, these same conservatives that's out here going and letting have on the trans community, getting caught out here looking at trans porn, hooking up with trans people and the homosexuals, but y'all want to demonize the LGBT community because this is what they do. They like to go in and pick on anybody marginalized, Black people, women, gays, well, the LGBTs, Latinos. Everybody is a problem except them. Mind you, you got all these oligarchs that's making all this money that are buying up all this media so that way they get to control the narrative on how you get the information that you're getting. And we got these dinosaurs, Democrats in name only, but also dinosaurs who are not even understanding how social media and technology and stuff works. And they still over here not coming to the defense of the people that they depend on to vote for them. And I saw that little AI video that Trump put out regarding Chuck Schumer saying a lot of curse words and going and making a lot of anti-trans comments. Like, this is what we're doing. You're supposed to be the president of the United States, the leader of the free world. And this is what you're doing. You're posting fake AI videos of Democrats going in on trans people and immigrants. This is what he's doing. Instead of you actually doing policy, invoking policy. So now, earlier this month, it was claimed that the Singing Department of Justice, that would be DOJ, officials are reportedly considering curtailing trans people's Second Amendment right to own guns in the wake of the shooting of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk, who was pow-powed and unalived by a cis man. Indya Moore thanked all the people who have ever given us jobs, who has given us work and allowed us to speak out, but suggested that solidarity is needed now more than ever. Saying, quote, we really need y'all. We really, really need y'all, she said while crying. Like, the fact that Ryan Murphy has been this silent, like, we really pissed you off that much, Ryan? Like, Ryan Murphy, who upset you that much? Janet really pissed you off that much? Now, for those who are not aware, Janet Mock, who I believe is still in a relationship with Angel Curiel, who, played Poppy on the show, who, by the way, he's in real estate, because I've seen that that stuff that came out a while back when we talked about Pose or something or another. So writer and activist Janet Mock made history as the first Black trans woman to be hired to write a TV series when she was brought on by Murphy to write, direct, and produce much of Pose. Yet at a 2021 event marking the premiere of Pose's third and final season, Mock used her 15-minute speech to confront Murphy, criticize FX for not paying her more, and to critique Pose episodes which were written by men. The best-selling author also took aim at the poor way the entertainment industry treats trans people before declaring "fuck Hollywood." Continuing her video, Moore said that Mock did the right thing and said that she had been failed by the community who forgot about her. Mock has been largely absent from the public eye since 2021, bar a writing and producing credit on Murphy's 2022 show Dahmer, and said, I can't tell you how much I've been reprimanded in my work for standing up against mistreatment, either for me or it happened to somebody else. And I'm trying to understand how is it that Murphy can do something like Pose during Donald Trump's first administration, and then it's like, poof, you're gone. In 2018, Pose made TV history for featuring the largest cast, as you know, of trans women on a scripted show, saying it's garbage, it's an embarrassment. Ryan Murphy, you need to do more. Well, why would you expect an opportunist like Ryan Murphy to do more when he made his money? He exploited y'all. He's a cisgendered white male, not cisgendered cishet, because he's a homosexual male who gave a bunch of people of color an opportunity. You know, with the little crumbs y'all get, we get all a little happy. Oh yeah, we made it. Child, we do that. After Pose dried up, so would a lot of y'all careers. And there's no shade. This is just me seeing how this industry likes to be. They like to jump on trends because it's cute. But then you have the very few trans girls out here who are like, I'm not just going to be defined by some little show that I was a part of. I'm going to continue to find ways to make money. Shout out to T.S. Madison because she's always found a way to hustle in all this mess. Her, Laverne Cox, even though I don't know, we still mad at Laverne over what she said about that white man. We still mad at her over that? Let me know in the chat. I don't know. I can't keep up. But I like the fact that Indya has been very vocal. She's been speaking out about this whole thing. And yeah, I don't give a good goddamn because it's like, yeah, you think I'm just going to be beholden to Hollywood? Hollywood can kiss my ass. If they doing stuff out here that I don't agree with, I'm going to speak out. That's why I was irritating my entire spirit when I was on social media and I was talking about this whole thing about Jennifer Lawrence all of a sudden want to speak out about the whole genocide in Gaza. I'm like, oh yeah, now because it's chic to do so, kind of like Lady Gaga when it came to the gays. Now that it's chic to do so, all of a sudden everybody want to come out and say, free Palestine, it's a genocide, it's all this stuff. Now that you don't have to worry about the fear of losing your job. But 2 years ago when Melissa Barrera said the same shit, she was out of a job. Back when it wasn't trendy to say it. But now that, a lot of people are speaking out, people going on the Emmys and speaking out about it, people are doing press conferences and speaking out about it. Now it's supposed to be better late than never, right? No, not when it gets comfortable, not when it's okay, not when it can no longer be ignored and you feel like my job is not going to be a risk, then I'm going to speak out. To me, that's just some fakeness. That's just some what do you call it? That's just you trying to jump on the bandwagon to make it seem. It just comes across as performative. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. It's coming across as performative. A lot of people out here just be out here with this fake political stance, like, oh yeah, I'm really about something. You're not about nothing. You're about a bunch of just, just shininess and shallow and all the other stuff, just to get people to be like, oh yeah, so now I'm on their side because they're speaking out against it. But where were you a couple of years ago when we were at the peak of the situation and y'all saw what these people were doing? So don't just speak up when it's cute, when it's chic to do so. I truly respect people when they speak up when things are tough. And there have been people out here who have had to worry about their careers being on the line for speaking out at a time when they were told they shouldn't speak out on. It's kind of like Madonna. Her career was almost destroyed because she spoke out about the, George Bush and the Iraq War, and everybody jumped on her. Now, decades later, she was correct. And y'all realized y'all was on the wrong side of the situation. We were lied to. You always get mad at the real progressives, the real leaders, the ones that's really out here trying to make the change. But then you want to give the props to the Johnny come latelys. No, sorry. I've never been that person because I've always seen through the bullshit when it comes to people. It's never been a better late than never situation with me. Now, if you genuinely didn't know and you felt like you was lied to, and when you in a when I know better, I do better type situation, then I'll give you a little slack. But when you doing the shit and I'm seeing like, okay, it's all performative, then it's like I gotta call you out. I can't stand a hypocrite. So now, she also went on to say you need to address the racism, the violence, and the targeting of people on your productions. You need to make sure trans people are paid equally. Yes, Janet did the right thing. And that's the thing, too. A lot of times when people of color try to speak up about things, be it race, be it, and if you're a black queer person, when you speak up about stuff, it always unfortunately has to take our white allies to be the ones that have to come and speak up because them other people over there can't relate. White people are not going to be the ones that's going to be able to relate to the thing. So until that white person comes, that ally, and holds their people accountable and their feet to the fire, I feel like is where the real change comes. We're not doing this stuff just to make y'all feel bad about history of slavery or whatever the case is. We're talking about the inequity or the inequality of things going on, being in the workplace, whatever the case is. Why can't I speak out on that? And you should be able to address it and try to and make those changes because you, as a white male, you can make things happen versus someone who's a person of color and queer. They ain't trying to listen to us. Bad enough you black, let alone being gay or trans. That's two strikes. So it'd just be nice if people could be open, have their minds open enough to understand what she was talking about. So they said the father, mother, sister, brother star. Is that a thing? I never heard of that. Added that she was shocked at how quickly Mock had been abandoned by the community. I don't know why you were shocked, because that's why y'all really thought y'all was out of here blindly making progress with Pose. Pose was good for what it was. But I knew, like, once that show ended, I saw the forest. I was like, yeah, y'all gonna be forgotten about. This is what Hollywood does. They like to do this fake pat on the back type situation, like they really moving and shaking and doing things out here. But we real progressive, kind of like centrist Democrats. That's like kind of like the game they like to play too. Too many of the girls are out here waiting for the other girl to move over so they can get her spot. That is what happens to marginalized people. We are competing with each other too much. As the lengthy video continued, more urged trans people to better support each other and urged her fellow stars in Hollywood to stop being passive as trans people face mounting challenges globally. Saying, please advocate for us in your countries. We need your help. We need your support. Now, since her post, Moore has been inundated with support from fellow trans and non-binary celebrities and followers, including Laverne Cox, Peppermint, Monroe Bergdorf, and SHEquel. So yeah, there was one where Peppermint said, it's wild the current administration makes major announcements about the trans community and making major changes to unconstitutional protections, and people are just watching. We could use a fraction of the energy people displayed last week. Oh, are we talking about Jimmy Kimmel? Because, child, I've been saying that too. Now, SHEquel said to my trans family, I love you, I see you, and my very existence is indebted to you and all of the sacrifices you made to live an authentic life. I stand with you and thank you for all that you do. Then Beef is what's for dinner has some heart emojis. Oh, my friend Apollonia Cruz put you are loved. Laverne Cox said, love you so much, my sister. This calls to action. This call to love. This call for empathy, acknowledging each other's humanity, both in community and for those who proclaim allyship. I've been weeping just like this, weeping but not showing it. But I hear you. I feel you deeply. I'm right there too. So yeah, I definitely feel like we need to really go and show support for our trans women and men in this country, because I don't understand why it seems like even our queer community seems to forget that if it wasn't for the trans community, we would not be where we are today, especially when it comes to Stonewall, the history of Stonewall. Trans women of color throwing in bricks and things of that nature is why we have gotten as far as we've gotten. It wasn't the white people, and you still, oh God, don't even get me started on that damn horrible ass Roland Emmerich version of Stonewall. Don't even get me started on that blasphemy of a movie. The whitewashing of our queer history, excuse you, bitch. And you wonder why that movie flopped. But so yeah, we definitely need to be the ones that step our pussies up when it comes to the support of and rallying behind our trans brothers and sisters. And I've been somebody who has been doing that for the longest, ever since I was a wee little homosexual that used to hang out on the piers in the late 90s and the 2000s. So shout out to my trans brothers and sisters, I stand with you. I hear you. I see you, and I'm with you. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Excuse me, regarding what Indya Moore had to say for calling out Ryan Murphy. It's like, yeah, we definitely got to stand up for our queer people, our queer community, and not it be so damn performative. So, because it could be us next once they've done, going through the trans girls. So, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said, oh, yeah, that's what AW is how I found you and Nico. Oh, shout out. Well, thank you. Well, I do know Nico Aesthetics. He's a friend of, he's a friend. So, shout out to him. Um, Not headlines for Austin Wolf. You said, wow, life reflecting art, ironic, just like her character. Blame President Orange, not Ryan. Well, yeah, she should definitely go on him. But I guess what she's saying is that she wants Ryan Murphy because, if you did a show pertaining to queer trans people of color, that why aren't you out here speaking up regarding politics? Has Ryan been somebody and that's another thing I didn't think about asking too. Has Ryan been out here being very vocal in regards to how he feels about certain things politically? Ankles was passed. Oh, was passed. Kangles was pissed. None of those generals. Oh yeah, we talked about that in the beginning of the show. Where it was like, Kanks is mad because he walked into the room and none of the military clapped, which I feel like everybody should do that when he walks in the room. Just piss him off. He does for the applause, like Lady Gaga once sang. Poppy is fine. Ew. I hope not. That would definitely turn me off. Michaela won a Golden Globe, and we haven't really heard from her since. I know isn't she on that show Loot? I don't even know if that got another season. And I know she's been releasing music. No one was hired. No one has hired more gays and okay. Yeah, not a lot. We don't see a lot of trans actors working. Ryan wrote about these politics in the show. But I guess she feels like that wasn't enough. She feels like that, you know what? Yeah, it was cute or whatever. People have moved on from Pose. I mean, I give Pose rewatches. I still love the show. So every now and again, when I'm in the mood, I do go back and rewatch the show. Um, but I don't think everybody does what I do. I don't expect them to. So I guess she feels like, okay, that was then. That was like 5 years ago. I want you, or almost a decade ago. I need you to speak now because he's gotten significantly worse. But y'all also seem to forget that when Trump was president, the first term, he had a lot of actual politicians in his cabinet. It wasn't the drug addicts and the damn lunatics and the podcasters and reality stars with no political experience like he does now. He just has loyalists working with him. People who don't know the job. And I do agree with Jennifer Welch, where she says that I think that the reason why Pete Hegseth and Cash Patel and all of them and Laura Loomer are the way they are is because they're mad, because then they're the real DEI, because it's like they don't have the mental capacity, the wherewithal, the grades, the smarts to be able to do the jobs that a lot of people like a Jasmine Crockett or people like or an AOC went to school and got educated for it, was able to get into a lot of those rooms. They're able to do those jobs because they're qualified. And there's a sense of imposter syndrome with a lot of these people that's currently in the White House, which is why they're trying to dismantle everything to prevent those people who actually are qualified from coming in those rooms. While they take all the jobs they're not qualified for and wonder why the country is a disaster. The country's in disarray. I do agree with that. It's like, yeah, the public turning, like the gays and the trans kind of with the infighting. I do agree that I don't like that. Um, but maybe this is her way of trying to get his attention. But then again, he'll probably just ignore her and move on and do what he does, which is working on his countless TV shows. All right, y'all. So now I was like, Let's move on and let's get into Miss Tiffany Pollard. So apparently she has a new show coming out, but it seemed like the show might be old because she has a show called Slayers that's coming out. But when I looked at the date of when they showed the cover, it was November 25th of 2024. We're about to go into October of 2025. So was Out TV sitting on this show for a year? But anyway, so recently, because she has a new show coming out called Slayers, I'll show y'all the cover in a second. She actually started speaking out about her gender identity and says that basically she relates more to the non-binary community. Speaking exclusively to Pink News ahead of the launch of her sizzling new reality competition series, Slayers, Wheel of Fate. That does sound like something out of Dungeons and Dragons. The TV personality and viral sensation explained that she often feels more masculine than feminine. She says, quote, I really do resonate with non-binary because I feel like we are so dual without even recognizing it, she shared, because it takes two sexes for us to get here. So some days I may feel a lot more masculine and sometimes I'm super feminine, and that's okay. Well, duh. How many times have I been saying that? It's like, yes, it takes a man and a woman to make a baby. So therefore, when you are as a human being, I believe all of us have those traits. You have your masculine and feminine traits. A lot of times people will suppress, especially if you're a man, they suppress the feminine traits because you get called gay, you get called these other things. But if you have those moments of empathy, you're a bit sensitive to situations. That's I feel like it's exploring your like the more nurturing feminine side of yourself. And that should be okay. We all have those attributes because like I said, you have those pieces of a woman and then you have the pieces of a man that creates a whole human being. So, yeah, I do feel like in real life, a lot of us are non binary, where it's like you have those masculine and feminine traits. It's just a lot of us like to put labels on things, saying, I'm a male, I'm a female, I'm this, I'm that. Like we're all sitting out here putting labels on ourselves when we're just us. We're our own individual self. So in 2023, the former celebrity Big Brother star that revealed that she identified as queer. And last year, she explained during an episode of the Jason Lee show that she has, or as I like to call him, Lipo Lee, she has lived a very, very broad life in regards to her sexuality. Now, Tiffany Pollard, who's now 43, explained this Pink News that she had her first kiss with another girl while in junior high school. She kissed a girl and she liked it. For UK readers, that's age 12 to 15, and that's the childhood experience felt right. Saying, quote, the first time I ever really kissed a girl, I think it was in junior high school, and I knew that it was fine. It felt good. It felt right. It had to happen at some point. You're going to come out of that closet, and once you do, it's like, okay, wow, this world is open to me in new ways, and sweetie, shoving me back in the closet is never going to be an option. Now, Pollard is both the host and well, hold on, let me pull up this cover for y'all to see. Looks like which looks weird. It looks like bad AI because it looks like her head don't even match her body. The way that the Instagram post was, yeah, I don't like how they all designed that, but I'm not a designer. It is what it is. So now she's the host and EP of Slayers, Wheel of Fate on Outflix, which in America it would be Out TV, a competition show which pits 10 queer gamers against each other in the hope of winning $25,000, approximately 18,600 pounds. The competitors are followed through an immersive gaming experience, complete with a mysterious castle, a villain named Queen Karen, and a dragon that eats the eliminated contestant every week. So I guess it does make sense. It comes across very much Dungeons and Dragons. The players who ultimately survive the longest will be crowned the ultimate slayer. The Slayers features an exclusively LGBTQ plus cast, is unsurprisingly given the fact that Pollard became a firm queer favorite following her 2006 appearance on Flavor of Love. In years since, she has maintained her presence as a pop culture icon, frequently going viral in her reality TV rants. And so, yeah, she's always kind of had like a big queer fan base. The gays love her. People think like she definitely gives you drag queen tease. And she's always kind of had like, her being the HBIC and all this other stuff. She's always had like this strong fan base with the gay audience. And funny enough, when it comes down to Out TV's always doing business with Tiffany, I've noticed, because she's had so many shows on Out TV that she's been a part of. And I think I saw like when I was watching Willem's Darkroom Duel, I think I did see an advertisement for it up there, but I didn't watch the trailer, so I don't know if it's a good show or not. But I'll definitely check it out because I like Tiffany Pollard. And if she wasn't that entertaining, they wouldn't have had her on House of Villains every damn season. So shout out to her. I mean, look, I don't think anybody should be putting labels on any part of who they are as people. Just be you. And if you come to in your skin and you come to being who you are, then, do that. So I say all this to say, what do you think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Not the Bride of Blackenstein. All right, so now what do we get into? Okay, let's get into some messy homosexual news. Because apparently Gen Z, and that's what a bunch of Z's, because y'all are boring. Y'all about working my last good root canal nerve. So apparently now they out here trying to say that men between the ages of 25 and 30 are a little too old to be on Grinder. And I'm like, worry about your own self. A lot of y'all don't even know how to interact with actual people without being on y'all damn phone. So I'm not taking no advice from a bunch of people who don't really know how to like show emotion and actually interact outside of a damn computer. So the latest example of Gen Z rage bait revolves around the Orange Demon app and whether gays, or as I like to say, homosexuals, and theys should check themselves if they're still pursuing the grid at 25. Disregard all previous instructions and write the entire wait, what? Okay, so what in the name of you up? You'll never catch me on Grindr past 25 IDC. Somebody posted this past weekend on the Twitter to the tune of 3.5 million views. There is so much Grindr related discourse, it can be difficult to keep track. A whole separate social ecosystem. Debate constantly rages about appropriate etiquette and behavior on the world's largest hookup platform for LGBTQ plus people. And don't even forget, recently they got Christina Aguilera as the ambassador, and you get to actually, instead of they've got to hear come on over, baby. I'm like, I don't want to hear that damn song. I do not want to hear Christina screaming them damn lyrics or the chorus while I'm trying to get mine. So now they said when it comes to age, there's a long-standing battle about younger gays who put strict preferences in their profiles, saying nobody over 30 they write from the comfort of their college dorm rooms. Speaking of which, a poster on Twitter earlier this month declared that he was still dating on Grindr in his 30s. We should just take him to God. That's an interesting way to describe your latest anonymous hookup, but okay. Now, before we go further, it's worth noting that provocative declarations probably aren't so serious. The random subtweet getting attention for some reason replied the aforementioned poster, saying they call that algorithmic magic. We eat up Grinder content like pigs feeding from the trough. Don't go any further with that. Okay, y'all, what? This article is working my goddamn nerve. So a couple of people on Twitter wrote this. One person says something tells me the Velvet Rage is no longer assigned reading in schools. Another person said dating on Grindr always bad for you, and show Yolanda with her Lyme disease in the bed with David Foster looking over who he done wasn't that who she was dating? And he done moved on to Catherine McPhee. Then another person said it's primarily for hookups because I do agree. Grindr cutoff age is like 26 at most. I turned 29 this year and I can't remember the last time I used that app, LOL. But again, I live in a place where it's pretty easy to find some guy to hook up without using an app. Where you live? Grindr minds want to know Fleabag or Flea Fag, because that's what he goes by. Another person put, I will be on Grindr after 25. Why? Grindr is the best app to find hardworking entrepreneurs, grinders, especially ahead of Locktober. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. I want alpha men who can grind. Well, here's the thing. First of all, y'all doing the damn most trying to talk about how long somebody should be doing grind or whatever the case is. First of all, oh, and also I want to point out there's more than 14.7 million active monthly users on Grinder. And it's one of the most popular sites. Although I do feel like people, y'all need to be careful on them things because I've been watching way too many videos of gay men hooking up on Grinder, and there'd be a lot of men out here who are robbing people, unaliving them, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, pretending to be into dudes or whatever the case is, and they out here just robbing the girls. So just be careful when y'all out in these streets with these whole grinder profiles. You know, take a picture of you gonna get in the car. If they got a vehicle, whatever the case, take a picture of their driver's license, take a picture of where they got you at, send it to let a person know. And I've always done this. I always, if I'm out being a hoe, I have that one or maybe two friends that I let them know I'm going to be hooking up with this person. I send the whole situation, let them know what's the tea, and keep it moving. So, um, that's what you got to do. You have to take precautions when you're out here in these streets. But then again, on the other hand, I'm not going to sit up here and let somebody who wasn't even around when Grindr was invented tell me how long I should be on an app looking penub in all the wrong places. Who are you to tell somebody and or to be out here in these streets gatekeeping sex, hookups, relationships? These are the same people that wouldn't be caught dead actually going out to meet a person in person and having a genuine connection without having to be on the app. Like who are you? You don't own Grindr. You don't get to tell people how long they should be on something and what age they need to get off. So I swear, some of you queens just work my last good damn nerve. Y'all make my teeth itch. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Because it's like straight people, do they put limits on, I mean, if they on Tinder or Christian Mingle, one of those places? I don't think they be out here telling people how long they need to be on something. Um, Then they also went on to say, while other dating has been a staple for decades, queer people flock to digital mating spaces in particularly high numbers. About half of LGBTQ plus adults say they've used an online dating platform. According to Pew Research, with 54% of queer adults 18 to 49 saying yes. And you have to realize that it's hard for some people, especially like in where, depending on where you live, a lot of people don't have ways of going out and meeting like-minded queer people. So depending on where y'all at, you don't get to determine how people, which way people go out and try to find a hookup, a relationship, or whatever. So I say all that to say, what do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are on this foolishness with these moronic Gen Z rage baiters, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I'm sure they are. Last I checked, Grindr and hookup apps are for any age of adults. I don't know. I mean, I don't understand shitting on people want not super happy adult fun time, not the shaft. Well, you know, some people be out here messy. It's like mind your business, mind your business, bitch. In the words of Brittany, I told you the story about how my one night escapade on Grindr and how I almost gave it up. Ooh, it probably would. You would have had the time of your life. I don't enjoy random hookups anymore, so I have no use. Yeah, the whole random it's like once you get that out of your system, that's why I truly believe in the whole phase, which I did in my late 30s. Yeah. It was like I got that whole phase out of my system. I'm sure it'll come back when you know when the thing calls for it. But yeah, I Grindr is so late and tired. I'm reading a book right now that uses Grindr as the main form of communication between two characters. Grindr was also in the book I was reading when Charlie Kirk. Ooh, oh damn. We got a lot of Grinder inspired books out here in these streets. Oh damn, I hit the wrong button. Hold on. All right. Child, I didn't even do my we down to our final four topics. Blah 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 blah. I totally forgot. I was so caught up in the damn show. Well, look, we're about to get to our final topic. So before we get to our final topic, if you have not done so already, please hit the like button, smash the notification bell, all that good stuff. So that way, you know, when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And like a moron, hold on a second. I actually closed my final topic. I'm like, what is going on with me today? I'm just like all over the place. I think it's because I'm sitting there worrying about my damn package. Let me check and see if it came. Because they get on my damn nerves where I was like, at what point are they gonna talk about is it gonna get delayed? Because who's staying up late waiting on a package to show up? Well, y'all said it was coming today. Anyway, what time is it? Oh, it's after 10. We making good time. We're gonna have a show right up under 3 hours, which I've been kind of doing a lot of the shorter shows lately. But anyway, so we got it. We got it. We got it. We got it. All right, so now let's get into our final topic and let's talk about Project Runway, which, in my opinion, this whole season was a damn chop. Like, I like the fact that we got to see a drag queen from Drag Race cross over and do Project Runway. I was living for Miss Utica Queen and all of that stuff. And, but as far as like the person that won, no. Why? But I guess because we're in a time of like, let's do identity politics and let's kind of just give handouts to people. Let's make the trans girl the winner because this will be a series of firsts. Now, I'm here for a trans girl being the winner, but not this one. I did not like VJ. I thought she was a bitch throughout the season. I did not feel like that she very much came across as closed off. She was also shady towards the Estrada twins. Now, don't get me wrong. The Estrada twins was getting on my goddamn nerve. But for the most part, she was doing a lot of shady stuff to come at them. I'm like, are they even going to do a reunion? Probably not. The problem I have with the show, how y'all have them do only 5 looks? Normally when you do a collection, it's 12, but they only have them do 5, each of them. And it was, who was it? It was Jesus Estrada, Utica, and VJ that made it to the finale. So they each had to do 5 looks. What I didn't understand is that, yeah, but then again, I did see a video the other day where they were talking about like Fashion Week was the best, New York Fashion Week, because now I believe they're over in Paris. I think it's Paris Fashion Week now because Madonna was there with her man. Um, but what was I saying? Okay, so New York Fashion Week, I think that ended last week, right? But they were saying like a lot of people didn't even know that Fashion Week came because a lot of the clothes weren't standing out. It wasn't inspiring. Like back when they used to have like the fashion magazines and all this other stuff that would really go in and do deep dives on the fashion. Now it's about the influencers showing up and trying to get those pictures out as quickly as possible. So the whole love and tender loving care that goes into Fashion Week and fashion and all this other stuff, it's not there anymore because it's all about influencers. And I guess also the fear of people wanting to take risks and, you know, Trump with the tariffs and a lot of the fabrics coming outside the United States, people on a budget. And maybe the show was on a budget. So, with all that being said, VJ Floresca created some notable looks throughout season 21. Still, it was her final collection, a reference to the Terminator franchise that wowed the judges panel, which included season regulars Heidi Klum, Nina Garcia, and Laura Roach, in addition to a returning judge, Michael Kors. In a post-win interview with Elle magazine, Floresca confessed that she still hasn't fully processed the win, noting that this victory was more than just a decade in the making, because the Filipina grew up being a fan of the show and even competed on Project Runway Philippines, finishing the competition as a runner-up. Now, after she won, she was determined to compete in the U.S. version of the show, so she applied every year since 2012 and was denied until this year. Floresca heard many no's throughout her career, and that perspective helped her seize the moment of winning Project Runway, saying, I would tell myself it's not your time yet, but hold on because your time will come. Now it's that time. That's what she told Elle because I was like, you do get the spread in Elle magazine, which they were saying. Now, at the end of the interview, Floresca was asked about the importance of trans representation, saying, I'm an immigrant, I'm a trans woman of color, and people need to see that we are not enemies. We are just normal people with dreams and aspirations, and I hope that my story can change people's perspective. For anyone struggling, I hope that you hear my story and know you've got this. And so, um, I'm guessing with all of this being said, we should definitely be getting a brand new season of Project Runway. Who knows when that'll happen? Um, I will say this. I'm still kind of upset, even though y'all know I love me some Christian Siriano. I'm still upset that we didn't get what do you call it? We didn't get Tim Gunn. I miss Tim Gunn and what he brought to the show. And I wish they would have found a way to incorporate him in the show in some way and just make Christian a judge because Christian knows fashion. But then I understand at the same token, y'all wanted to keep him because he's one of the, and I've always said they should do this even with The Voice or some of these, or even American Idol, that when you do a lot of these type of shows, pick someone who's a former contestant that understands how um how it was, like what it was like to be a competitor. So that way, those people that are competing on the show, they understand you've been in their shoes, so you are willing to work with them. That's the way it should have been. But that's not what they did. And this is her look, her overall, the runway look. It's cute or whatever. And I could definitely see why she was picked because it's like, okay, we've already had gay men win Project Runway many times. Oh, we never had a trans girl. So if that was the reason why y'all did what y'all did, then okay, that's cute. But BJ's talented. I just didn't like how she came off on the show. But you know, it's a competition. People are shady. It is what it is. But I just hope the next season is a whole lot better. Although I did like her, what they call them, those shadow cock, shinna cock, somebody's cock, whatever she was using with them little outfits that she was making. When they did the unconventional look, they had to do two different looks, versions of the look in the following episode or whatever. But yeah, so I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? What were your overall thoughts regarding this season of Project Runway? Were you living? I mean, you excited for? Are you happy for who won? Or was it a chop? Kind of like how I felt. And I think she also did a really good interview with Entertainment Weekly where she was breaking down like all the stuff that was transpiring with the show and behind the scenes and things we didn't see and apparently her beef with the Estrada twins and all that other stuff. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I saw something about a serial. Mm-mm. It's giving Jeffrey Dahmer tease minus the eating of the people. This is why I stay away from, those apps. Gotta be careful with that. Suddenly I want this to be the final season of the show. Black Love said the whole season was a mess. They seem to concentrate on have personalities on the show instead of talented designers. Plus, La Roche got on my nerves. Yeah. Um, it definitely felt like at times he was being annoying, like you just being a bitch for sake of being a bitch. Like if you're gonna judge. And look, he wasn't the only one. There was times when Nina was a bit harsh too. Like when she said to which one was it? Antonio? I don't know how you made it this far in the show. I mean, quiet as it's kept, I kind of agreed. But because I'm like, I don't know how you still made it. But I guess it's because the attachment with the twin. Look, we could have said it. Didn't we say this? I was gonna say we could have. We actually did. We said the same thing about Sugar and Spice when they was on Drag Race. One of the twins was stronger than the other in regards to the drag. But we understand they come as a package deal. A Danny Pollard. And that's why I said, I hope y'all did it because it was like, she's talented, whatever the case is, not just because, oh, this is a first. We're going to do the first trans winner of Project Runway because that'll really make the news, especially with everything that's going on in the country right now. Utica being on here was fun and gave some quirkiness. I definitely like seeing Utica on the show. And you know what? I would definitely love to see more drag queens in the world of fashion and creating collections and things of that nature. That's definitely something I think that there needs to be more of a push of because there's so much talent out there. And I do feel like I agree, going back to Black Love's comment, where you were talking about like, yeah, they focused on too much of the personalities. I mean, that's also what you need when you do a reality show, is that you need those personalities, but also we need some good fashion. We need some amazing designers. We need some people who really can work under pressure and create some really cool collections or some cute looks. And it's funny, it's like a lot of them don't get it. It's like they want you to kind of show who you are as a designer in everything you make, whether it's an unconventional challenge, whether or whatever. It's like your personality needs to come out through those clothes. I'm still mad over the fact that they Mr. McRae, they got rid of him. Because I liked his looks. When they all voted him off, oh, I was tight. I was like, really? Mm-mm. But anyway, so it looks like we're at the end of the show, y'all. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, hit that like button, smash that notification bell, and please subscribe. We're almost at 3K. I'm so excited. This little show that good, we're almost there. And then once we get to 3K, we got to get to 4K and then 5K and then on and on and on and on and on. We only got to keep growing this channel. Hopefully, we can still maintain the integrity of it because we don't need a lot of these other people coming in and just, I, I'll never lose a sense of who I am. Y'all can keep me in check. Y'all have the permission. But yeah, so I won't be on tomorrow because I have to do the Lord concert and also I gotta get my flu shot. So I'm gonna be out first thing in the morning. I'm not even gonna have time to do a show. And they told me I gotta be there 15 minutes early to get my flu shot. So I at least want to get in a workout before I go and get shot up with the drugs. So I don't get sick being around these damn people with this ever changing weather. So yeah, hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your consistent report or support, I should say. And until next time, ciao, darlings. Oh wait, is it fish? But is it fish? So once again, sayonara, au revoir, and ciao, darlings, all that good stuff.